Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sleeper Sports Media Podcast. I'm again Nick Witosh, and today I'm going to have a guest with me, Keenan Mary, aka Mystic Mary from Exceptional Sports News. What's up, man?
What's up, bro? Can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah. I hear you.
Sweet. Yeah, I
So,
didn't feel like putting the the big old headset on and stuff right now. But as long as you can hear me good, I'm
yep,
cool with that.
yep. All right. Well, whenever I do see that with Anchor, as soon as you join, we started. So, this is honestly my first, like, I guess, well, maybe third real episode with a guest. So just you want to tell everyone what you do and where they can find you?
Yeah, man. My name's Keenan Mary. I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I go by Mystic. I'm initially from Baltimore, Maryland. Uh, we have a big platform on. We're trying to grow on Anchor, which is a good start that I'm actually on here,
Sweet.
and YouTube. Instagram, we got platforms. You got, Sleeper Sports and Media and Exceptional Sports News. So check both of them platforms out. Probably working on more. I'm trying to work on getting out on Apple Music and Spotify. But for the most part, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram is really where I navigate most of my business with sports and stuff.
Right. And then, yeah, you don't like TikTok, do you?
Honestly, I like TikTok for entertainment, but not for posting content, really. But it's crazy because, I have people in my family that they're not guys that are photographers or videographers, but they're outdoorsy people.
Yeah.
And dude, they have 1,000+ followers. Like they're working on trying to get sponsored on there and get paid some money. And that's awesome. I love what TikTok has going on, but to me, I just don't see that as a platform to help me out. Because I was putting the same amount of time putting the same exact videos on there as I was on YouTube, and it's like, man, I'm better off just putting 2 videos on YouTube that's different.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I do the same thing. I put my shorts and stuff onto TikTok, but it doesn't really get anywhere.
I put one of my 10-minute UFC breakdowns, which I thought was one of my better ones. I put on Instagram. I got a 200 plays, which that's good because I don't spam a lot on Instagram. I just post stuff as I can.
Right.
And then I put it on YouTube. I think I got maybe 50 plays, but I'm okay with that because that's not like the shorts. That's like the stuff you want your eyes on, the actual videos.
Yeah.
But it's good to have a balance of both. That's something I've done my research with. I've took SEO courses on YouTube and stuff, and I've learned that it's a good to balance both of them. There's some people that specialize in shorts and others that specialize in 10+ minute videos or whatever be it. But they really say it's good to have that balance and you're able to do everything. But if I had to pick which program partner I'd want to go with YouTube, I'd want to probably go with the shorts.
Yep. I'm the same way. Yeah.
And it's like you're constantly on like the cover of YouTube as well. I went incognito and typed like something UFC related. This was a while back before I even got my first 1,000 views. I think it was probably something about Anderson Silva. And when I clicked or typed his name in on incognito, I was on like the timeline, like one of my clips, my shorts was there.
That's awesome.
I learned that incognito trick from Professor Mickley. If that basically when you're incognito, YouTube doesn't recognize as you.
Oh,
So you're
wow.
able to
I didn't
search and
know that.
see different results differently than say if you pull up your account.
Right. That's awesome.
But we have a lot of going on in sports, People tune
Yeah.
in, they're going to want to hear some of that. Geez, man, you got for starters, it just felt like the NBA season ended. And now the NBA draft is tonight.
So I'm not that big of an NBA fan, but I do talk about it sometimes. I mean, I'm more of a LeBron fan than an actual basketball fan, but
LeBron's a beast, man.
yeah. And he just became the first billionaire for the NBA, which
I
is kind of
love
cool.
it. He's a good businessman, much less a basketball player.
I saw Pat was talking about him the other day on the Pat McAfee show, saying that he should buy more than just an NBA team one day. He should buy one of the struggling like baseball teams, or
maybe even a football
any other
team.
organization. Yeah.
Imagine, LeBron James is a Cowboys fan, right?
Yes, I did know that.
Imagine if LeBron bought the Cowboys. Well, obviously he would need a group of people. He's rich, but he ain't that rich.
Yeah.
So imagine he gets the right group of people. They purchase the Cowboys and boom, Super Bowl contendership. I'm a believer the Cowboys will never win again as long as Jerry Jones owns them.
I could see that.
I truthfully believe it, dude. I've been alive since '94, and man, I didn't even really watch football hard back when they won it. The last time they won a Super Bowl, I was 1 year old, bro. I didn't know shit about football.
Yeah.
And like, you got to pull out the VHS tapes and blow them off if you want to check them highlights.
Yeah, for sure. So the NBA draft, they still do it like with a lottery the lottery, right?
Yeah, they sure do. It's gonna be interesting, man. People are already saying the Warriors are gonna repeat, bro.
Wow.
And it's like, can we get through the draft and the off season first?
Yeah.
And dude, I've watched the Warriors, God, man. Like when they drafted Steph, I said staff. But I've watched the Warriors a long time. They've knocked my Spurs out of the playoffs a couple times. And I knew when I first started watching Curry, like before the commentators is even crazy about him, like you seen something special in him.
Yeah.
And he's 34 years old. I don't know how many more years he's going to have at this level, but dude, he hits nothing but net. Like when that fucking basketball hits that, you don't even hear it bounce off the rim. It slides in, bro. I've never seen somebody shoot a three so effortlessly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm just a big LeBron fan. So when he was in the finals all those years with them, I was watching, and I mean, it was awesome. What do you think about the rumors of LeBron going to the Warriors?
Those have kind of took a little bit of a hit on the brakes because now there's a rumor that Kyrie Irving might go to the Lakers.
Oh, wow.
So this is breaking news as far as this morning on ESPN for First Take.
Wow.
I'm watching First Take on mute right now, which the beauty is you don't need the audio. You can just read the headlines on there and stuff.
Yeah.
Right now they're talking about the WNBA, but they were saying earlier that Kyrie is at an impasse with the Brooklyn Nets.
I did hear about. I was watching the Pat McAfee show the other day, and they were talking about. I think they had one of their basketball insiders on, and they were talking about that. But wow, that is.
And now that's got to make Kevin Durant feel some type of way.
Yeah.
So the Nets might have, dude. This is the crazy thing. Before KD, Kyrie, Harden was there too. Before those three guys went to the Brooklyn Nets had one of the best cores, like young guys off the bench you could have.
Yeah.
Now, you think when they got Kyrie, they got fucking Ben Simmons too. Like, bro, they have a mess because, Ben Simmons and his mental health. I'm not making fun of him, but bro, you're paid 200. Well, I don't know what he's paid, but he's paid a lot of millions.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, you need to man up and play or retire. Either way, you're set. And Kevin Durant dealt with all this bullshit, bro. Like, he dealt with James Harden coming and forcing the trade out. Then now that they brought Ben Simmons in, that's Kevin Durant's not going to make him better. And now the one guy you thought might stay with you, he's eyeballing the Lakers now.
Yeah, that's why I was not expecting to hear that from.
I'm actually glad I was able to break something. It's not like on the minute breaking news, but this is definitely a topic in basketball right now. Probably the hottest topic.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now, and Bleacher Report, the first thing that pops up when I type in Kyrie Irving Lakers, a 3-team Kyrie Irving trade between the Lakers, Nets, and Thunder.
Ooh, Thunder.
And then it says could make ... So, and then it's a picture of LeBron in a Lakers uniform and Kyrie when he's,
I'll say if this is completely like manure, the fucking basketball media sure did a damn good job of getting out a headline like this right after the finals.
Yeah.
But my thing with Kyrie, he wants to be max contract, bro.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even play because I don't care if you want the COVID vaccine or not, But you're playing for a team that says you want to play at home, you have to have it.
Yeah.
That's your fault that you play there. And now it's like people are going to look at that, and it's like, well, there might be something else that Kyrie Irving might not like and butt heads with. He's his own man. That's something I'll say about Kyrie. He's his own man, but he's also his own worst enemy.
Yeah. Like I said, I wish I was, I mean, in 2012, 2013, when LeBron was in Miami, I watched like when I could, when they were on TV or whatever. But, and I mean, I always do watch like the Christmas games and stuff like that. And the
That's part
All-Star
of
break.
like tradition.
Yeah. The All-Star break in the All-Star game is always over my birthday weekend. So I always watch that. And the celebrity All-Star game.
I like that
I
too.
enjoy that. But yeah, I mean, that's wild.
I'm happy to see this kind of topics coming out because it's only gonna get wilder. It's like we're just starting in the off season, bro. It's no telling what's gonna happen, but that's what I love. Basketball always keeps headlines, bro.
Yeah.
Here's another headline. Did you hear what Commissioner Roger Goodell said in regards to Dan Snyder in front of the committee today? The U.S. Committee, U.S. Congress, not the committee.
I didn't know.
You know the kind of heat that Dan Snyder in Washington's under, basically, right?
Yep.
Like workplace stuff. So basically, I already knew this answer, but I needed to see it publicly. And Roger Goodell basically done said, I don't have the authority to punish that man. He doesn't. Dan Snyder's the owner. There ain't nothing you can do, bro. I mean, it's like Vince McMahon, dude. Like I put that status the other day saying it's going to be granted, this ain't steroid scandals or whatever, Chris Benoit cover up, blah, blah, blah. But Vince McMahon is virtually untouched. And if he had any kind of worry that he was going down, he wouldn't be flexing on his shows right now.
No, he wouldn't be showing up at SmackDown, announcing it and then just surprising everyone and showing up on Raw.
That what's going to save his ass is that non-disclosure agreement.
Yep.
I don't care if he paid $3 million out. That's his pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have $3 billion to blow, but if you have $3 million to pay out of pocket to make somebody hush, and you get them to sign an agreement, they ain't got shit on you. Whether the situation is right or wrong, there's nothing that the law can do.
Yeah, and he's smart, and he knows that, and that's, I mean, he, like he said, he's agreeing and doing this like willingly, stepping down and all that stuff. But I mean, he knows that eventually they're not gonna have him, step away permanently or whatever.
There's nothing they can do. His pops would have never stepped away if he didn't get sick and die.
Yep.
It's something about them McMahon genes, but Shane's never. I don't know. Shane's never going to have the luxury of running the business like Vince had.
No.
Even if he takes it over, he's not going to have the run.
Yeah, and I mean, well, as far as I know, I think he's still technically like he's not a part of it anymore. He's not.
I mean, he's in the weed business now, bro.
That's right. I do remember seeing that.
This was a while back. I seen that, but I remember he saying he was in the weed business now.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they technically released him, but that at the drop of a hat, he's still McMahon, so he could just show up pretty much whenever he wants.
Oh yeah, he might be released or take an absence. He can come back anytime he wants, for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at Bleacher Report right now. Shane McMahon out of company after Royal Rumble because I guess he was in charge of doing the Rumble match and he put himself in, and I guess Vince didn't like that. But did you see his son, Vince's grandson, is going to Indiana for football?
I like that, man. He's trying to carve his own path. That's something I've always wanted. When I was real young, bro, like when Stephanie and Shane were in their primes, like on TV, general managers, Vince was wrestling every week. Even this was before Triple H and Stephanie were even together, and nobody knew about Steph and Shane's love life really. But I was like, if they have kids one day, I want them to try to branch their own way. It's like, just know you can fall back on wrestling if you have to, but try to be your own man.
Oh yeah, like I think he's on I think it was a walk-on, I don't think it was a full scholarship for him. So I think, who knows if he's going to pursue football when he's done at Indiana or just do football now and then try and get into the NFL, and then if it doesn't work out,
Hey, even if
on
it
to the
don't work
WWE.
out, play in the sport, get your education.
Yeah, that's
Do you know
true.
there's so many athletes that just don't bank on education, dude, and they fail and not nothing that they control. You might have a fucking snap leg your senior year and can't play.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a big focal point on education. Like me and you've had this talk before. I got ran over,
Yeah.
and I'm a senior in high school wrestling like every weekend. Body never knew what rest was, dude. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you force to take rest and you realize, well, athletically, my year is done and there is no next year because I'm a senior.
Yep.
I always took my grades seriously, even in elementary and middle school. But I knew then I had 5 months left in high school and I'm sitting here with B's and A's, but I knew I couldn't do anything athletically no more. I started studying what I could and learning anything I could. And that's something I like about what we do in school, man. Like, we know all the people will shit on us. They're going to shit on the media no matter what. You might as well say we are the media now because we are. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to become. And my thing is, whenever that's the case, like Kevin Durant, like I have went on a rant about this with him already. Kevin Durant was saying, like, if you ain't ever picked up a basketball, which me and you probably play. Obviously, we have not at no level like that, but we've played
Yeah.
with a basketball. But he's saying, like, if you've never played at the college or the pro level, you have no right to talk or have an opinion on basketball. Well, here's my argument. Kevin Durant, if you get called to a sports show and you're a guest, I don't even think you should be able to talk at all because you don't know anything about broadcasting.
Yeah.
And not that I'm taking a shot at KD because I like him, but if you want to push buttons, we can go there. It's like I want to see you set up an audio or a video podcast.
Yep.
I want to see you do this or that.
Yep.
Because a lot of these guys that play at the high level he plays at, they get on there and have to do nothing but talk. They don't know nothing else besides that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why
I
I
completely
stood
agree.
with Stephen A. Stephen A. basically said something similar to that. Well, and he also added that we're the reason you have fans, and he's not lying. Like,
Yeah.
more people watch these sports shows than the actual sport itself.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Because you can catch up on everything. Now, here's something I know you want to dabble into. Everybody was talking about Nate and Jake. Oh no, it's Tommy Fury and Jake now.
Yep. Tommy Fumbles finally signed on the dotted line.
That's what I want. Because Jake needs to fight a boxer. They have the same amount of experience, basically.
Well,
Nate Diaz is an excellent boxer, but Nate Diaz is an MMA guy,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Tommy, I don't know if you saw that. I did post the video that Jake posted announcing that he finally has the fight onto the Facebook page. But Tommy, I mean, he has been boxing since he was like 12, I think it said.
Yeah, he's been training since
all
then.
through
But
the
as far as
amateurs.
boxing in the ring itself, I think he's got 3 matches more than Jake.
Yeah, I want to say he's 8-0.
Yep, that's exactly on the money.
And Jake is
5-0.
technically 6-0, but that first one was his amateur. His pro debut wasn't until I think the fight with Gibb.
Yep, I believe that's right.
Because the first one was Deji, and that's when Logan and KSI fought, which I thought he might go after KSI.
He might want to say. Honestly, I was gonna say he might want to save that beef for Logan again, but also if him and KSI and Logan are cool now.
Yes, and Logan's pretty much said like their beef is squashed and they're running with Prime.
I watched a video where Logan said KSI helped save his career.
Yep. He said that he's talked about that multiple times, which is really funny when you think about it.
I would have never thought he would utter those words, but they've both helped each other elevate at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really seen KSI talk about it besides when he's on like stuff with Logan and everything, but Logan has said like their beef was real. They hated each other, and now
I don't doubt that.
And then it got to a point where they realized they're actually so similar and the same person, just KSI is over in the UK and Logan's in the US. And then, I mean, Logan went to him about making Prime and all that. But I mean,
That's
yeah,
good. They got a nice history.
I think it's going to be Jake and KSI, and it's going to be a tough spot for Logan.
Yeah, it really will be. I mean, Logan might just have to not. He might just have to not show up to that fight.
Oh
Just
no,
let him. He's gonna corner Jake, no doubt.
He'll back Jake, but I think he won't partake in, like, the trash talk and
Probably not.
whatever. What, it would kind of be funny if they had Logan do all the media stuff, like be that person, be like an Ariel Helwani, and go and host the press conferences and all that stuff.
How long have you known Ariel Helwani? Just out of curiosity.
I've heard of him before. Like, I think he was on the Pat McAfee show a couple times, and then when
I'm
Jake,
going way. This is before Pat even had a show.
Oh,
what I'm trying to get to.
No, I've only really watched Ariel Helwani and stuff because he was on the first time Jake or Logan was with Showtime.
He's a big name in MMA and combat sports media.
Yeah.
I've followed him since he was a Sherdogger. Do you know what Sherdog is?
No.
Oh, dude, anybody that watches this, if I know them, they can vouch that Keenan sits on Sherdog forums on his phone, always looking at MMA news. That sounds like me, does it not? But he was using Sherdog in like 2008 before he was real famous.
Wow.
And I've interacted with him on forums, like talked to this guy.
That's awesome.
Like casually. But the thing is, Ariel's great at what he does. But he's a snake. Don't let me fool you. This guy, he got slapped on camera by Nick Diaz for instigating. I ain't even lying to you, because it's what he does, man. He thinks he's Dana White. He'll get there at a press conference, man, get a microphone and get the first question and think, I can set the next fight up, and I'm about to do it. So he'll ask a question that makes both of the guys he's addressing want to argue and fight, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's good for like views and stuff, but Dana has banned him from UFC events because of that.
Wow. I think I heard that he does. I just heard that he doesn't do UFC anymore, because I know he was like,
that's why
stuff. But yeah, I didn't know. But
he's a snake, man. He actually got grabbed by the throat by Rampage Jackson too.
Wow.
He asked and the guy's nickname's Rampage, man. He asked him something disrespectful, like about a different fighter, like about him getting knocked out 10 years ago by that guy. Rampage grabbed him by the throat and was like, listen here, you little weasel. You gonna quit talking shit.
Yeah.
But he's good at it. I love that. But
oh yeah. When I watch him, like when he's on Pat's show, or whenever he had Jake on, even when he was doing some WWE stuff he was talking with Becky and everything, he was kind of wording the questions, and Becky was, I'm sure it was, just to play along with her, Becky Lynch, big time Beck's being mad now, and being a heel, whatever. But
of course she's bad now.
I could see what you're saying. Whenever
I've said I followed him before he was a nobody. Say, compare that era of him on Sherdog as like us posting on Facebook right now.
Yeah.
Not the same thing, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, that's the kind of platform he used to have, and now you type in Ariel Helwani on YouTube, he takes up the whole feed.
Oh
Even if he ain't fucking with UFC, which he's not, but he's still gonna cover it. I promise you that.
Yeah.
And Dana White is actually, I've seen at conferences where Ariel snuck in and been thrown out. Like he's persistent.
Yeah, he sure is. I mean, I know, like, I think him and Pat had like a little beef or something before, because he was,
they probably did,
supposed to be on Pat's show, but then he had his show to do or something like that. But it might have been all kayfabe. Who knows? But
it is probably kayfabe. And I'll go ahead and say Pat's show has grown stupidly like over the past couple years. But I don't think his show's touching the MMA hour yet. But Ariel's been on that platform for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard for Pat just to catch up there that quick. But even though you see the progress he's made, but it wouldn't hurt to, like, hey, come on your show, you come on my show. That's what true hosts do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
Like that's the kind of guy I am, because I don't mind helping you out. Cause I know one day I call him like, yo, you want to hop on an Exceptional Sports Talk one day? I'm glad your ass hit me up to do this, because I haven't been on Anchor in a minute
Yep.
since
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, I do the kind of take the audio that I do for, my wrap up videos and then post it on here. But yeah, I haven't really been trying to grow on here as much. I don't really get too many. I don't even really get too many listeners to this. But maybe if we both post it in a group, that'll change.
You could. I'll tell you, I haven't posted nothing else. I posted the ESN Talk 1,
Yeah.
and I had 23 views and listens, and that's the only thing I ever posted, and I didn't even share it like that. But that makes you think, like, well, damn, we start doing this more often.
Mm-hmm.
And every day there's sports to talk about. Something, Tony, admin Tony in the group.
Yep.
Me and him go way back. I have a lot of history. I don't really, not nothing bad, but
Yeah.
we've come from similar places. Like, we ended up at a behavioral center for acting stupid in school or doing something we shouldn't have done. That's where I met Tony at when I was like 15 years old, and we've came a long way, man. And he's been on me about baseball. He's our baseball head.
Yeah,
Of
I've
course, if you
noticed
don't
that.
see it, yeah. And he's been on me, like he stalks my YouTube in a good way. Don't If he's listening, I'm not saying he stalked me, but
Yeah.
he watches my content and he tells me all the time I need to cover baseball more.
Yep.
And I do.
I've noticed that. I'm looking at the page right now, and he shared the same post that I shared. It said the greatest power hitter in baseball history, posing for a photo with Aaron Judge, and it's the actor from The Sandlot.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Yeah, he loves baseball. He don't care. He could care less about any other sport.
I have noticed that.
He likes the Panthers, which he don't really get too excited about, because there's not. I mean, they suck. He loves Clemson and college football, so he's got
Yep.
a little bit of pride there. Geez, he likes CCU and baseball. He likes the Pelicans as the semi-pros. Which I like the Pelicans too, man. I live 20 minutes away from them. It's
That's
hard
awesome.
for me not to pull for them.
Yeah.
And I've been to their stadium probably 10 times in my life. So I've even been up in the fat suites, and players come up there autographing stuff, man. I was like 8 years old.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Like, when I first moved here, I couldn't even tell you who the fuck was signing my shirt and baseball and glove. I couldn't even tell you. They was up there, and food was being brought up there, and one of my cousins bought us the nice suites for that, and it was a hell of an experience. The suite was so nice, like I wasn't even like outside of it. I was watching the game on the TV in the suite.
Right. Yeah, I do that. I've done that too. I've been to a couple York Revolution games, and we got a suite, and I would watch from the seat outside, and then I would go in and watch on the TV. But they're nice. They're always nice.
I'm gonna probably do an unboxing video when this Xbox arrives next week.
Nice.
I think that's some content people are gonna want to see. One of my most viewed videos that wasn't shorts was me comparing the Xbox 360 or the original Xbox and the One. I got like 200 views on it.
Wow.
That's what I need to increase more, is those ones that ain't shorts, because I know at any time I can post a short and I might just hit 1,000 in an hour easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy how simple stuff on those shorts just pop.
It sure is. It's wild how quickly it takes for everything to just take off and get 1,000 views or whatever, like you said.
Imagine like the amount of, say we come from like Skip Bayless's era.
Mm-hmm.
This print 1,000 copies on the fucking printer at the newspaper.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's
That's wild to think about.
I've watched him grow. He just created a YouTube like 8 months ago.
Wow.
He's been on the the Undisputed and the Fox YouTubes Skip Bayless show is now official on YouTube and Spotify. That motherfucker's grown, son. I was one of his first 100 subscribers, bro.
That's awesome.
When he on my recommendations and it says Skip Bayless 88 subscribers, I was like, I'm gonna hit this subscribe and see what kind of shit this man's gonna be talking. And he's actually not bad at it, but it shows you like where he's came from.
Right. I want to do. Well, I saw you shared it too. The Steelers signed Kenny Pickett, and that means that all 32 first rounders are now signed and under contract.
That's important. I think nowadays first round draft picks are as important as ever.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are studs coming out of college, and that quarterback room in Pittsburgh, it's about to get tense as long as it goes on.
Yeah, I think me and Dave were talking a little bit that Mason Rudolph is probably going to get cut or released or try to get moved or
That's the weakest link. That's what I would think too.
I would still rather take him being a 5-year veteran over the other quarterback that the Steelers drafted. But
what about Mitch? How do you think Mitch fits in all of that?
From what I've been seeing, he's been adjusting really well to the offense, and more than likely he's going to be the starter for week 1. But
I think that's good for him. I don't think he's really had a fair shake in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it. I think he has a 29-21 record, I want to say.
And he came from playing in Chicago, which they're not known for any kind of offense. And then he went to Buffalo behind Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So he never really had any fair shake. And if he gets the starting nod week 1 behind that running game and defense and O-line, he can shine. And if he doesn't shine, that's on him.
Yeah, and then it'll fall to Kenny real quick. But
I think Kenny, you at least want Kenny to sit back a few of those first games and kind of evaluate.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to rush him at all. Even to say week 1, dude, man, I don't even remember his name. Damn. Dude from the Bears. Motherfucker, I just said his name like twice.
Trubisky.
Yeah, Trubisky. Say Trubisky does bad week 1. You don't want to necessarily take him away right away either.
Yeah, and then even then, if you keep Rudolph, you could throw him in week 2 and see how he does, and then go from there. But I think it was Dave that said he thinks that Pickett will be starting by week 6. But
they be having some crazy takes, man. He be on the money sometimes, sometimes not. But Dave's an interesting character, man. He wants nothing more than to take this fantasy title I took from him last season away for me.
I'm excited for that. I can't wait for the draft and all that.
And Dave be tagging me and hyping me up. He wants me to get a hot-headed, bro. And I'm like, dude, it's harder now to win a title than it was last year. I might
got expansion teams now.
But expansion all day. Got you, Dontario, got other guy, Big Dave. Fucking. I can't even remember who's all in there, but we went from like 6 to wherever we're at now. It's like 12 teams, man.
Yeah.
And Dave, it's sad how it ended for him in that season. The guy in the championship game, he swept me in the regular season.
Wow.
The guy smoked me. Both times I played the guy, he beat me 20, 30 points. Smoked me. Troy. If you ever see Troy Stewart pop up in the chat, that's who I'm talking about. He was the favorite to win it all. Dave knocked him off. And then Dave had to play me, and I beat Dave. So you can call it what you want to, but I got the title. And it was tough, man. And I'm a part of like 5 or 6 fantasy leagues a year. So this isn't the only one I'm doing this year, but I always say I want to at least win 1 championship a year. If I can do that, I can take the pain of losing. It ain't going to bother me as long as I get 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm normally I try to do one like with my family, my cousins or whatever, but by week 4, no one's really paying attention. So I end up winning it every year, but it doesn't really count because no one really pays attention. Besides,
I've had a few leagues like that. this league you're in with us ain't like that, but I have had a few select leagues that do roll that way. It's like, damn, they get down and don't want to play. But I'll say, not this past league, but one of my leagues in the past few years, I started 0-3 and won the whole thing.
Wow.
You just don't know. You can't give up.
Yeah, it's all about, like I said, for the Yankees, it's all about getting hot, or even the Penguins.
Yeah.
It's all about getting hot at the right time.
That's key stuff, man. How about we ain't even touched on the fucking Avalanche, dude?
Yeah, I saw your video saying that they're up 3-1 right now, and
That was a
I love
nice
it.
highlight of that game winner in overtime, wasn't it?
I love it.
I ain't gonna lie, I took it because America. If ESPN or Fox is listening, you guys don't cover hockey. I got this from TSN, a Canadian sports network,
Yeah.
and I didn't steal it the whole thing. It was a 30-second clip I trimmed into 7 seconds, and I basically showed you the goods of it. That was a nasty shot.
I haven't watched any of the Stanley Cup just because, I mean, I could watch it on ESPN Plus, but I don't know, when the Penguins aren't in it, I lose interest, and I want to focus on baseball then. But because I haven't been watching the Yankees, I'm not going to start watching now because I don't want them to start losing.
I don't blame you there. The Yankees is on fire, man. But they do. It's something I got to say. It's something they do every year. They be the best regular season team in that first round of the playoffs come.
Yeah,
and it sucks because they have the most championships of any team in baseball.
Yeah,
but as of late, it don't matter if they have 110 wins. It's like they get in the playoffs, they're just not the same no more.
Yep, they the most they can get to is the ALCS, and then they lose to the Astros.
Yeah. Man, I'm tired of them Astros, dude. They cheaters over there beating on trash cans and shit. I was glad when the fucking Nationals took them out, and I called that whole postseason. I don't know if you see me. I tagged Tony on that post that day because I have my backup because Tony was calling me crazy because he's a Braves fan. He don't fuck with the Nationals.
Yeah.
But I called that entire. It was a wild card game. That one game you lose, you out.
One and done. Yep.
And I called from that game that the Nationals were going to win the World Series, and they went on and won that goddamn World Series. And I was broke. I didn't have money to bet, and I wish I did.
Yeah, that was the year Matt Adams, who's from Phillipsburg, which is where my dad's from, where I was this past weekend. He was on that team that won, so I was cheering for the Nats to win it, even though I'm a Yankees and Pirates fan.
They were well. The good thing about Yankees and Pirates, they're both. Was the Pirates AL? I don't remember if they are.
No,
they're
NL. They're in the NL Central.
Well, I mean, at least you got a team from each. I mean,
yeah.
If you really pushed the shove, made me do that, you already know it'd be Nationals and the Orioles. I mean,
yeah.
Not that I wanted to be that, but the Nationals have treated me well, bro. And when I was born, my grandma was a Nationals fan, a Orioles fan, and a Redskins fan. The Baltimore Ravens didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So my grandma, it's crazy because my grandma's been dead since 2007. But she would not support this Commanders bullshit going on right now. She would probably, her favorite color is purple. Let me go ahead and add that. She would probably come over to the dark side with me and be like, see, there's a reason I put you on the Ravens because I knew.
Yeah.
And she was awesome, though, man. My grandma, it kind of broke my heart. She had a bad issue with certain drugs and certain alcohols and things. She 59, man, when she passed away. And my mom is almost her age now. Like, that shows you, like, my grandma had a lot of time left.
Yeah.
And I got a job at McDonald's in 2014. And there was a lady there. This was 7 years after my grandma died. I kid you not. This lady had the same issues, cirrhosis of her liver, hepatitis C, all these problems like that killed my grandma.
Yeah.
She got flew from our job. Like, McDonald's paid to fly her to India to this professional surgeon. She came back with stem cells in her, and she was healthy. And I told her, I said,
like Rey Mysterio getting them stem cells.
I'm telling you, I told that lady, I said, I always think about my grandma when I look at you, because like you had the same health problems, but My grandma, I'm not saying she couldn't have got better, but me and my mom would give her medicine. Like, it was something called lactulose. It was a real thick syrup. And she would pour it down the drain, son. Like, if you didn't watch her drink it, she poured it down the drain. And she would, like, lose her mental state. And I've come home from school one day, and my grandma was butt naked in the living room, dude. And
Wow.
she didn't know it. She didn't know it. And I called my mom, who was at work. I'm like, "Yo, Granny's got one of these spells, Mom. You got to come home. She's naked. I can't help her get dressed."
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I'm not
wild.
gonna touch up on a woman like that, grandma or not, you know. And sure enough, my mom got home. She got her dressed, and then the hospital's picking her up. But it's like, you know, the liver is very important,
Yeah.
and that basically, like, when my grandma's liver went, her brain started going, her heart, like, everything just
Yeah.
started going when that went. And she wasn't the biggest drinker, but she liked to shoot, man.
Hmm.
She lived in a rough area of Baltimore, and she used to own a hotel. Like, my first few years of my life, I lived out of a hotel.
Huh.
And I've watched people get robbed. I mean, I've heard gunshots. My grandma got robbed at the clerk desk. I mean, I've seen it all, you know, but my grandma made sure she got us the fuck out of there before.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was 7 years old, she moved us out of there, and I was happy as could be. That's when we come down here. She loved Maryland, but she wasn't trying to get robbed every night again.
Yeah. I said about Rey Mysterio and his stem cells. I'm looking on Twitter right now, and July 25th Raw will be in Madison Square Garden, and that will be Rey Mysterio's 20 years since his debut for the WWE.
It's insane. How many years did he have, like, before that? Because he was in WCW for a while, and
Yeah,
he's been at it.
Yeah, he's been wrestling since he was 14 years old.
Jeez, them Mexicans, dude. I don't know what it is. Mysterio don't even look old.
Yeah, no, he's on top of it. But that's crazy. You got to think
his age shouldn't be flying around the ring like that.
You got to think that's Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, and now John Cena coming back for his 20th anniversary. Brock Lesnar, his 20th anniversary.
Batista would be.
Yep.
I miss Batista sometimes, man.
Yeah, maybe now that he's done with Guardians, maybe he'll have a comeback.
I always wanted Batista and Brock Lesnar. We never got a clean match of that.
Yeah.
It was always squash. It was never like, hey, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Beast versus Beast. You never got something like that.
So I'm looking on Twitter, and Ringside News just tweeted this out. Tony Khan believes that AEW has closed the gap with WWE.
Wow.
I've just now started to watch AEW, and I didn't watch Dynamite last night. I was probably going to watch that in like an hour or so, but I mean, I can kind of see it. I mean, they got some big name stars, and them doing this pay-per-view with New Japan. I mean, it's getting pretty close, but I don't know. I still think WWE is just untouchable. It's like comparing the NFL and the XFL.
Well, I've seen the numbers, and I'll say, you see more AEW fans arguing against WWE, but when you come to the numbers, WWE is still winning that.
Yeah, and it's like in a couple years, if the XFL this time around succeeds, it's going to be like comparing the NFL to the XFL.
Oh yeah, the XFL is crazy, man. Like, I hope it can do well, but it can't do well expecting to be another NFL.
No, and I don't think it's they're coming from that mindset. Like The Rock, I mean, if he really wanted to, I'm sure he could bring in, whoever and do, whatever that he would need to do. But yeah, they're partnered with the NFL in the way of like going with the same rules and stuff like that, but it's nothing like a developmental league from the XFL to the NFL, which is crazy.
I think the NFL would never even allow that.
Yeah.
I think they got too much power and pride. Like, they would be like, no, we're not doing that. You do your thing, we're gonna do ours. But yeah, dude, I've noticed, man, there's a lot of we got a lot of dang AEW fans that I know personally, and some that have been down with wrestling forever, and some that's new. And it's these newer fans that just got into wrestling that like AEW more that bother me.
Yeah, and they're
They
gonna sit there and trash talk WWE because they haven't watched it, and they're AEW fanboys.
Or a lot of people right now too are like, I've seen it. It's calmed down lately, the past like 3 or 4 days. But when that news first broke with Vince, it was all AEW marks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's why I kept quiet. That's why I waited until I seen what I said. And then, non-disclosure agreement. Oh, the money come out of Vince's pocket. I'm good. I can make my opinion now.
Yep.
It's like he ain't going nowhere, bro. He's gonna die or retire on
Yep.
his own terms. You're not gonna take that power away from him. You just can't do it.
Yep.
He's
fought too hard.
When you own something at the level of that, there ain't no government that can take it from you.
Yep.
The government might have to regulate you, but they don't own you.
So I'm looking on Twitter right now. Ric Flair is trending.
I ain't surprised.
The Nashville mayor has deemed July 31st Ric Flair Day is the first one up there.
And they giving him a hell of a push for this last run. And you know how many times in my life I've heard this is Ric's last run?
Too many.
Yeah.
About as many.
I'm a big dude. My grandma, her two favorite wrestlers were Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes. So I ain't got no connection with Goldust, but I do fuck with Cody Rhodes and I fuck with Charlotte. So I guess in a way it kind of fell down a generation. Man, Goldust used to kind of scare me growing up. You lucky you didn't have to see that live.
Yeah, I can't really remember Goldust.
At you. And he would like suck his teeth, and he was weird as fuck, dude, but scary. I don't know what it was. He was a big guy. He was like 6'6", 6'7", about 300 pounds. Nothing but gold, and he's trying to kick you in the balls and thumb you in the eyes. He's a little scary. But he never got no good push, man, ever.
Well, that's changing now. Cody's the dude, even with his injury.
Cody's the dude, and he has the gimmick to be the dude. Goldust is just fucking Goldust.
Yeah.
That man's never had any. He's won an Intercontinental title, a hardcore title, and I think he was tag champs with like Booker T.
Yeah.
He ain't done nothing else outside of that, bro.
So
this was scary.
This Ric Flair's last match, it's on for StarCast, and it's in Nashville. And I guess it's is it for an Impact? Or I'm just confused on how all of a sudden he can, he's wrestling for why he would make his last match be for anyone other than WWE.
Well, WWE kind of cut Rick off. It's bad to say. He 2 or 3 months ago, like he was on a podcast, and his podcast is one of the best in the world. The Woo or whatever podcast it is he's got. Yeah. He was on there dogging Triple H and Vince McMahon, two of his guys that helped him hit stardom. Yeah. Granted, he was a superstar before Vince McMahon and the NWA and stuff. But at the same token, you got the platform in WWE, you got through Vince, and then Triple H carried your ass.
Yep.
But he threw them under the bus, man. So you'll never see them or him wrestle in that company again. You'll probably never see him. He's already been inducted, I think, twice as himself and his Evolution. So you'll never, or at 3 times, the only 3-time Hall of Famer, because he was inducted with 4 Horsemen too.
Yep.
But you'll never see him involved in WWE ever again, I don't think.
I think sad. I think, if it would have to be the right storyline, something with Charlotte or, maybe.
What haven't they done with Charlotte with them two, though?
Yeah, that's true.
It's really because they've had, when Charlotte come out, she used to go by Charlotte Flair. She completely dropped the Flair part. She turned on Rick in the ring one day and slapped in the face and was like, I'm better than you and I don't need you. So it's kind of hard to think about what them two could do together now.
Yeah.
They were never like a quote-unquote tag team, so you couldn't induct Rick in a Hall of Fame with that either. So it's a mess.
Yeah.
I think Rick just wants to satisfy this itch anywhere he can one last time.
And I mean, the training videos he's put out, he doesn't look terrible for being, 70 something, 80 something years old.
What cracks me up, there's something that's always known about Ric Flair. Somebody told me this 10 years ago, and I noticed it because I've watched his old stuff and new stuff. When Ric Flair goes to the top rope, he don't ever jump. He gets thrown off of it.
Wow.
Ric Flair is saying he's going to have his first bump off the top rope ever in this match. I kid you not. If you go watch Ric Flair highlights, anytime he goes to the top rope, he gets thrown off of that fucker. He has never got a flying elbow or atomic drop. He's never got anything off of the top rope successfully.
That's wild. I didn't know that.
And my cousin told me that 10 years ago, and I kid you not, I started paying attention to Rick in the ring. And Rick can have the most momentum in the world. Like, I kid you not. Like, all the momentum. But he go on that top rope, it's gone.
Yeah.
And he never climbed, and I lied. He never really climbed to the top. He climbed to the second rope.
Yeah. I guess I never noticed that because I didn't watch when he was still, well, I wasn't really able to watch when he was still, in his prime or whatever, because I'm only 24, and when I was watching, it was like 2006, 2007, something like that.
I'll tell you what was murder to watch. Brock Lesnar, his rookie year, took on Ric Flair. Dude, he abused that old man. Like, you could see on Ric Flair's face, like, he was in a lot of pain in that match, man. Brock was hitting him with belly-to-bellies and German suplexes, and he couldn't take them like that. I ain't ever seen Rick in so much pain. Let's see.
That is wild.
It blew my mind when I first was told about it. And then, we were... Now also, the Knicks are interested in Kyrie Irving.
Wow.
It's going to be one or the other if he doesn't stay. And the Lakers don't have a lot of capital to make that move happen, but I still would think the Lakers are the favorite.
Well, that's what I saw. And if he would go to the Knicks, then he would still be in New York. So then he wouldn't be able to play unless he gets vaccinated, right?
Unless they've changed the rules since, they are more lenient now with that. I'm not sure on the rules with it now, but I do know a lot. I don't think Brooklyn even makes them do it anymore. It's like, man, it's crazy but to me, how the state of New York can say you cannot play here if you're vaccinated, but he can go travel to Phoenix, Arizona and play on the road.
Yeah.
Like, you either everybody needs to be in on that or you can't enforce it.
Right.
And I say the same thing about weed, bro. As crazy as the topic is, I don't smoke weed no more, but I used to. And when I did smoke, it was extremely frowned upon.
Yeah.
And now you got about roughly half of the states that say it's a medicine, and the other half still say it's an illegal drug. It's like, well, I can't buy that. I need to know, is it good or is it bad? You can't tell me half this country says it's legal when you can have it, and the other half says it's a drug. That bothers me. But I quit smoking. I was smoking too much, dude. I quit smoking about 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
And I smoked every day in high school. There wasn't a day. I'd smoke at school. I'd go outside and smoke. I don't give a fuck if any of my teachers watched this. They didn't catch me. I'm telling you, man, I'd skip school and smoke. That's just what I did. But
yeah,
it just wasn't worth its time to me no more, sneaking and geeking and worrying about a drug test. And because when I got in trouble in high school and put in a behavior program for 8 weeks, like, I was drug tested twice a week.
Wow.
So I had to quit smoking off rip for that. And by the time I cleaned up, it was like, weed ain't really that good if I have to fucking be sneaky about it. I was like, it's sad that I can go live in California and it's worshipped. But
Yeah, or
you
Colorado or
yeah, you
whatever.
live right here though. You're a felon if you have it. I don't understand that. Like, there's no fine line. So I can go buy alcohol and get fucked up, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's wild. It is crazy. It's also crazy that the Usos' brother, Solo Sikoa, said, "I don't want to be referred to as their brother or their cousin. I want people to recognize me as me."
I really like that and respect that. I might just help him get the push he's looking for. He's actually very good in solo competition.
Oh yeah,
He don't need the bloodline.
yeah. But I mean, it'd be cool to see him in, brought up and maybe not put right into the faction. Maybe they could do what they did with Jay, where he's gonna push and push on Roman, but then end up joining and then being, the IC champ on Smack. Although he'd have to beat Gunther, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Gunther, they're pushing him like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
They got a
hopefully
thing with them British people, son. You look at they
hopefully
might
he
not place
is.
him with the main belt, but like you look at like William Regal, how many times he held the Intercontinental belt. They got a thing
Yeah,
for the British people.
hopefully he can restore the IC title to what it was when the Miz had that title and all that.
I agree. I miss when like Jericho used to have the belt, man.
Mhm.
Jericho used to make that thing important.
Yeah,
And him and when Orton won his first well, it might have been his second. He beat RVD and Jericho in his first two reigns, but
mm.
both of those matches felt like world title fights. And I mean, this was like 2003, but still, back then, man, Randy Orton, people love Randy Orton now, but when I was ranting and raving about him in 2003, when he was the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion at its time, nobody gave him a fucking look.
yeah,
Nobody. And it's like now I see, oh, Randy Orton's the GOAT. Randy Orton should break Ric Flair's record. And that's like, where were you guys at 19 years ago?
yeah. Well, I think Rick is going to be I think Randy is going to be the one to break it because he said he's going to wrestle for 9 more years. He wants to wrestle until he's 50 and then
I
be
think
done.
it'll be more than just one. If you
Oh
want to,
yeah.
I think John Cena might break it too.
Well, I think
Dude, John Cena's been waiting 6 years. He's been at 16 reigns for 6 years, bro.
yeah, but I think
He's due.
Cena would have to come back for like a solid like year
And
to
I think he would. He's young enough to do that. He just has to really crack down on those Hollywood obligations. Like, yo, I want to go break a record at my Automator real quick.
yeah.
That's something he's got to do. And then
Yeah.
Orton obviously deserves it, especially if he's wrestling 9 more years. I thought at one point Triple H might do it, but being he's retired with his health and stuff, he was
Yeah.
close. He was at like 14.
Yeah, he's 14 times. And did you see that he was back? He was down at the performance center and said, "I'm back," and no one really knows what that means, but people
From
are
what I've read,
running.
he's taking on running NXT again.
I might have to start watching.
Honestly, it ain't been the same since they took his power from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Mandy Rose, and that's Toxic Attraction is all they got, and that's not really who
All
you
that
want
much.
in views. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's taken away. Mandy was a star on the main show. They brought her
Yeah.
right back to NXT to do this.
Yeah. After her and Sonya had their thing like 2 years ago. Yeah, that was, and then Ziggler and Otis were involved with Mandy and him. Yeah,
That was a mess.
it was wild.
I remember I actually predicted Otis to win that Money in the Bank, and people hated on me. When he won that motherfucker, I was like, working man Otis. That's all I said.
He didn't even really win it. He didn't climb the ladder. It fell
Hey,
to
he got that
top.
briefcase though. He got that briefcase.
Uh,
Nobody expected that though. I know deep inside of me, even though I took him, I didn't expect it. I don't know what it was. Like Otis is a hard worker, bro.
oh yeah.
And they
Yeah.
split up like Heavy Machinery around that time. And I say, why not Otis? They
Yeah, well
always
no.
talk about a new guy. Let's let Otis get that.
So they broke up Heavy Machinery whenever Otis lost the briefcase, because that's how he ended up losing. Tucker interfered
You're right.
and that's how the Miz ended up winning it.
The Miz is a sneaky ass character, man.
Yeah, I can't wait for Logan to come back and beat his ass.
Yeah, we've been due them two a rivalry since Mania.
And
Miz knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing though that night.
Oh yeah, and Logan, he's said that they're trying to get him to sign, a longer term deal or whatever, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to half-ass it, because he's not he's more the person where if he's doing something, he's going to put everything into it. So he just has to be at a time and point where he can do that.
That's true, and he's got a lot of current commitments he's doing right now. They got a
Prime,
lot on.
99 Originals. Yeah, he's running.
He needs to maybe try to get him another boxing fight soon, man.
He said at first, because of his broken hand, I thought he was done, but he said it's going to happen. I mean, he was calling out, Nate, and he even called out Connor. He called out Patty the Batty.
Man, he wants all these guys that can't just fight outside of the UFC, though. That's my thing.
Well, he said that his ideal match for the UFC would be Patty. He didn't tell.
Now, if the UFC would sign Logan Paul and do that, it would happen. But like, Patty can't leave UFC and go to Showtime and box because Dana White's got him by the balls. Yeah. Same with Nate Diaz. That's why I said what I said the other day. It's like, I'm all eyes, dude. I want to see Nick versus Jake or Nate versus Jake. I mean, but Dana White ain't just gonna let him go.
Yeah. Even though he keeps calling for his release, but
that's why Dana won't do it.
Yeah.
You begging for it. He knows that, hey, I got one more fight with you. And what Dana's thinking, he's going to pair him up with somebody that's going to beat Nate's ass. And Nate's going to lose contracts over his value isn't going to be as high.
Yeah, I can see that.
I hate to say it like that, but that's what Dana White thinks.
Yeah.
He's not going to tell you that on camera, but I know that's what that man thinks. He's not, if he cut Nate Diaz today, and Nate goes and beats Jake in boxing, which that's a stretch because of how bad Nate is nowadays. But say, Nate beats Jake in boxing. Nate is like, he's skyrocketed even more than he already is.
Yeah.
That ain't a good look for the UFC because he ain't going to go back to the UFC. He's going to get another boxing fight.
Yeah. I mean, like Jake was saying, he told Dana, actually, no, because Dana is open and he said, Logan can do a UFC fight. And when he was on that podcast, Logan didn't have an answer for him on who he would want to fight. And then later he said Patty the Batty.
That's interesting, but the only thing with me is the weight difference.
Yeah.
What's Logan like walking around, about 200 pounds?
A little heavier than that, I think. Maybe.
Patty the Batty fights at 155, bro.
Yeah, but he can put on that weight.
He's gonna make Logan cut the weight if they did that. I promise you. Patty ain't gonna do anything to make it easier for his opponent. And Patty's underpaid right now too. He's wanting to get $1 million a fight, and he's nowhere near that.
Oh, so when for the Floyd fight, Logan weighed in at 189.5.
And that's big considering Floyd
was 155.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, he's about that weight. But that's an exhibition though. If Logan wants to come and do an actual lightweight bout, that's where it gets tricky because exhibitions are very famous in boxing.
Yeah.
The UFC, they're very strict about weight classes. If you want to fight somebody, you guys got to meet at this weight. And there's no way Patty the Batty will go up 30 pounds to compensate Logan.
Yeah.
But I would love to see it. But I just that would be the one brick wall in the way. And asking Logan to cut 30, 40 pounds, that's a lot too. Because he's built, bro. He ain't like he's small.
Yeah. Well, he's more taller, and Jake is the one that's like, Jake is just like Logan says, he's just thick.
He is. But it would be harder for Logan to cut that weight off with that height. Like, he's more stout, like not
Yeah.
like muscular. He's not more muscular than Jay, but he's got a bigger figure, and that kind of muscle's harder to bring off.
Yeah. Like Jake is 6'1" and Logan's 6'2".
That 1 inch goes a long way, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. If them guys are really smart shit, they can sell Logan versus Jake and break 100 million pay-per-view guys.
Oh, they absolutely could, but I don't think it's ever going to happen.
We had this talk about Nick versus Nate Diaz about 5 years ago, and we said the same thing. We think that they could break like pay-per-view records, but they're not. They won't fight each other.
Yeah. Well, they've talked about that before. They've even teased it before. They did this video where they were going to spar, and then it cut real quick, or the screen went black right as after they touched gloves, and then it cut to them, and they were playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and they looked at the camera and started laughing and said, "If you want this, you got to buy it on pay-per-view."
They excellent trolls, but it's like even then, it's like the crowds could be willing to buy it on pay-per-view. Are y'all willing to do it?
Yeah,
that's the thing, and it's like I don't want to see no sparring either. I want to see an actual fight.
Yeah, what I mean, their parents have also tried to shut it down too. They said they wouldn't allow it.
I don't blame them. Who would want to watch that? But if they could generate $100 million, bro, I mean, why wouldn't you? You wouldn't have to do anything the rest of your life again. If I had a baby brother or an older brother that I could box for that kind of money, we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
I don't have no brothers, and that's something. I have a half brother, but he don't live with me.
right.
So it's like I've never had. I had a sister that's older than me, and she moved out years back. But I mean, I've never really had like that brother I've always wanted to have.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, Jake and Logan. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think that their beefing days are full on over, because Logan talked about that on the podcast with True Jordy, who, by the way, True Jordy said that Logan definitely won at least 3 rounds versus Floyd.
You can argue that, but also the same thing I say, and it's not that I'm hating on Logan. The same thing can be said about when Floyd boxed Conor McGregor. Floyd didn't go hard for several rounds.
Yeah.
And Conor's a good boxer, very good boxer. But Floyd Mayweather, those first 2 or 3 rounds, he usually doesn't even try. He's like a robot, son. He wants to analyze what you do, how you react. And he made a career off of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not the biggest Floyd fan, because there's plenty of guys in that era I like more than Floyd, but Floyd is one of the best to ever do it. I can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
I wish I could go in there and fucking slap boxing gloves with him for 12 rounds, 8 rounds, whatever be it, for a fat check.
Yeah. And I know I sent you the episode or whatever, but Logan, he said kind of the same thing that you said, on people starting to say that he asked Floyd for a rematch. Logan was like, why would I take a second fight when you didn't pay me for the first one? And he said that it was Floyd that was and his team that was wanting the rematch, because his last fight that he just did, apparently there was an issue with his opponent, and they needed someone to fill it. And Logan was like, yeah, no, you haven't paid me for the first one.
Here's the thing with that. There's a lot of sketchy stuff with that situation. Mayweather Productions isn't real. You understand what I'm saying by that?
Yeah.
Showtime pay-per-view forks the bill. And to me, it's funny that Mayweather gets paid and allegedly Logan didn't.
So he got paid. It's just that he didn't get his pay-per-view share is what
the pay-per-view share, I can answer that. You can get that 2 years from the event, bro. That stuff, it comes in residuals. That's what that is. But what I'm saying is, say if Logan didn't get paid a dime, like nothing.
Yeah.
He can't really blame Floyd Mayweather. You got to blame Showtime. Because, like I said, Mayweather Productions does not exist. When you got spare time, go to YouTube, and type that in on YouTube. You know, Mayweather Productions doesn't exist. There's several different. The government basically laughs at it. It's like I don't really know how to explain it. It's like Floyd Mayweather might have an entourage and this and that, but he is not Showtime pay-per-view.
Yeah,
He's not the guy that pays the bills.
isn't that the same thing as Jake's? I thought it was his promotion. Like he helped Showtime promote the fight.
That's what exactly. That's all he does is help promote it. He ain't paying. Showtime is the forker of all of that. Floyd Money Mayweather Promotions is not real, dude. He can tell you that all day. I assure you, Floyd Money Mayweather Promotions is not a real thing. It's not technically trademark. Well, it might be trademark.
No, it's an LLC. Yeah, it's a boxing promotional firm founded in 2007. So yeah, I think it's the same thing as Jake's MVP, most valuable promotions, because like they have boxers signed to them.
But what I'm saying is, it might define as LLC and stuff. And I'm telling you, there's other fight promoters that have already broke this down. A lot of these pay-per-views we watch on HBO by Showtime, it'll be like from Showtime by Mayweather Promotions. Like he is like in a sponsor in a way. He isn't the guy that Floyd don't pay nothing. He just collects checks, bro. Floyd can't even count 1 to 100. I mean, I'm not trying to dog the man, but let's be honest. There's people that do this for him. If they fuck up, they fuck up. But what I'm telling you is that like that ain't what Floyd does, and it ain't his responsibility. And I hate it because that exhibition was entertaining, and I would have hated if the roles were reversed and Logan got this fat sack and Floyd didn't get paid nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got to get it figured out. I don't really know what more to think about it. It's like, you know, I hate it but obviously Logan ain't hurting for money. Like, I not saying this is true, but Floyd made a joke about it saying, "Nah, Logan only hurting because of the Pokemon cards." Now that made me laugh. It just made me laugh, bro. You know they're taking shots. Them taking these kind of shots might set up a second exhibition that does even bigger.
From the way Logan was talking on the True Geordie podcast, he wants to get a win under his belt.
If that's the case, it can't be an exhibition.
Exactly.
But would Floyd agree to that?
Probably not.
That's how I feel about it. And I can't belittle Floyd for if he says he don't want to agree to it. The man's proved himself, you know?
Yeah.
He's probably the greatest defensive boxer I've ever seen, dude. And I'm not his biggest fan. I grew up, I like Triple G. I like Canelo. I like Money. I like, Pat-Man. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan. There's a lot of guys I've watched over the years, but Floyd I would put near top of the food chain, but not near one of my top favorites to watch.
Right. Yeah, I will say I'm brand new to boxing only because of the Paul brothers.
Now you can kind of see why I'm a little hard on them because I knew about combat sports before them boys even thought about YouTube.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Them boys, they're excellent at what they do from YouTube to combat sports. Now I ain't not knocking them, but man, I was watching combat sports before them guys even had like fast speed internet to make these YouTube videos.
But you got to think, and they've talked about this. They were making videos before YouTube was a thing.
Yeah, Vine. I used to follow Logan on. That's how I know who Logan is.
Vine. But they also did stuff before Vine. Like Logan was talking about this. He's like, they were like, I think 6 or 7 years old. They got a video camera for Christmas or something, and they just started making videos of them jumping off of picnic tables and stuff like that.
That's what it's about. Them boys, they were probably on the old school dial-up internet like I was then. I never even heard of Logan and Jake Paul until that the graveyard incident or whatever it was.
The Suicide Forest thing?
Yeah, and trust me, I have not even posted an opinion about it. I really haven't. But I get why people will go irate, but also I see why they would post that. They got what they were looking for. But it's like, man, like I just kind of didn't really dabble with that. But that's how I come across them, man. And at that time, I never even looked at them guys as combat fighters, man.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
just shows you how things change.
yeah, they were, they back then they were focused on YouTube. I mean, Logan was kind of doing, movies and stuff, and Jake was on Disney Channel, and
Yep,
then and then they agreed to part ways on that and all, everything, because he was just out of control and just doing whatever he wanted for views on YouTube.
He really was. I say that man did whatever for a click.
And they've just turned that into selling and promoting fights. It's awesome.
That somebody just messaged me and was like, I can't believe Archie Manning went to Texas. Breaking news. I said, bro, that was breaking news an hour ago.
Yeah, I've been
We were talking about podcast.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like I respect Archie Manning, but
Yeah.
he ain't gonna turn around Texas. They're saying that Texas is the favorite in I think it's the Big 12 they play in.
Yep.
That's the favorite, but to me, it's still Oklahoma.
Well, wasn't it Oklahoma, and I think maybe Texas that's going to be leaving the Big 12 within the next 2 years.
It could be, but as for right now, for next season, the Texans or the Texas Longhorns, they're the favorite to win that Big 12.
Mm.
And I don't see how. Like they never do anything good. Their best years are like 9-3, dude. They don't ever go undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah. Can be.
They be saying shit like that, and then they're just gonna watch Alabama do what they do. Alabama's nasty, man. They ain't even my team. They just nasty.
I can't stand them.
I'm tired of them winning. I'll say that. But
I'm a Penn State fan and a West Virginia fan. So I don't like Texas because I like West Virginia. They're in the Big 12.
Isn't that so weird that they're in the same conference? Like,
yeah, I think it's because West Virginia, they ran the Big East for so long, then they wanted, a little bit more competition, and now they got too much and they can't really hang in the Big 12. I mean, they do, but it's almost like, they just should have stayed in the the Big East or gone to like the Big 10 or something,
Yeah, absolutely. And then you look at Michigan, like in the Big 10, like I don't know if they can even come back after that loss to Georgia last year. That was rough.
Yeah.
That was the best shot that they had under Coach Harbaugh, and they shit the bed.
I can't stand Harbaugh.
I like Harbaugh, but not much as John. Jim Harbaugh is meant for college, though. If you want to know the truth, that's where he's meant to be at.
Yeah, it was cool to see them coach against each other in the Super Bowl. But
man, I remember before the championship game, it was the Falcons and the Niners and the Ravens and the Patriots. Yep. They trademarked Harbaugh. I kid you not. They trademarked that. Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
And it hit me right before the games even kicked off. I said, well, I know who's going to the Super Bowl. And it ain't even about being a fan. It was like, my team's going and then my team's baby brother's team's going.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie, that meant a lot to me. And I would really give that Super Bowl high praise if we didn't lose power.
Yeah.
That fucked it up, man. That a $3 billion, $5 billion stadium don't just lose power like that.
Yeah. What was up with that?
We were up 28-6, or it might have been 31-6 at that point. I don't remember. But I do know when that power got cut, I looked at my cousin Shanna. She's no longer with us. I looked at her. I said, "You're about to see a close game now." I already knew. And then there was a 2-hour power outage. And
that's the Ravens, how long it was?
Yeah, dude, it was 2 hours. And the Ravens, they were a lot older than these 49ers. So it's a lot harder to ask these Ravens to go hard like they did to get that lead and then go hard 2 hours after resting.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they asked us to do. I'm surprised, man, they won. But it was just like, man, it should have never been that close. And to me, it was. I've watched both of my team's Super Bowls in my life. Watching the Ravens just kill the Giants 35-7. The first Super Bowl where an offensive touchdown was not scored by a certain team.
Wow.
And then watching this, like, it just blew. I literally thought, oh, this is the Giants again, bro. Like, this was like the third quarter. It was early start of the third quarter. They kicked the ball off to the Ravens. The Ravens ran it back for a touchdown. I said, oh, shit, this is going to be the Giants again. I kid you not. Now, you could hear the background noise of when the power went out. That's just that.
Yeah.
And dude, I lost it. I looked at the TV. I said, there ain't no goddamn way, man. I said, it's just because my team's playing right now. There ain't no way. But it cracked me up because the power might have been out, but the NFL studio still had lights to keep the broadcast lit up.
Yeah.
So that's something I always think about to this day. Now that I'm not just a sports fan, I try to look at things from the broadcast booth. And looking at it like that, I think they did that for a ratings boost. Because if the 49ers didn't come back in that game, nobody was going to turn back to that channel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
There had to be my team to go through that because a lot of people, when I have this conversation, they see it from a biased perspective. It might be a biased perspective if we actually didn't win it. But to me, I think Roger Goodell pulled the plug. I will go to my grave and believe that. Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, Joe Flacco, Ray Rice, like top guys of that team, Anquan Bolden, they say the same thing. They didn't want them to have it easy.
Joe Flacco. Haven't heard from him in what feels like forever.
The motherfucker was average in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he turned it into Joe Montana.
Except when he played Pittsburgh.
I will say, yeah. But, hey, that thorn in your side, them New England Patriots teams that give your Steelers hell, Joe Flacco used to smoke them. He come out there and just – I've never seen an average quarter – Joe Flacco's average. I've never seen an average quarterback attack these Bill Belichick defenses like Flacco did. Ever.
Did you see? Well, actually, I think you're the one who shared it. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to Amazon Prime with Thursday Night Football.
I think that's a very good platform for him. That's a good introduction space for broadcasting. I'm interested to see what kind of mind he brings to the table. Because, we've watched a lot of his footage over the years, and that man, he got a cannon. It don't matter which team it goes to. He gonna sling it. But
Yep.
I want to know what goes on in that mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's this man thinking? And I think that's perfect. Thursday Night Football needs more eyes, man. When I first started, when I started Full Sail, I had that run on Thursday Night Football of 11-0.
Yeah.
11. And I was thinking that whole run, like, well, damn, maybe I'm the guy they need on Thursday Night Football because I know a lot of people that don't watch it.
Yeah.
As bad as it is to say, there's people that just won't watch it because it's Thursday and it's late. They got work Friday and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, damn, I went 11-0 on Thursday night. And the game I lost was Ravens and Dolphins. I'll never forget it. How the fuck did the Dolphins beat the Ravens that game? I don't know. It shouldn't have happened. Something told me to bet the Dolphins that day. Just like literally 2 weeks before that, it was the Packers and the undefeated Cardinals. And I took the Packers, and everybody was like, no, you're crazy. And they were saying, like, these Cardinals different. I'm like, Aaron Rodgers different. And Aaron Rodgers ended up beating those undefeated Cardinals. And I kind of had that feeling when it was the Ravens and it's something about the Dolphins, man. They play us hard, especially when they ain't supposed to win.
Yeah. Look at them and the Patriots. Seems like anytime the Patriots are lose to someone in the division for so long was in Miami.
It's almost like when the Patriots lost to the Dolphins at home, they were winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true too.
I remember week 1, 2014. Me and my stepdad went to a sports bar, and I was 19. I wasn't even old enough to drink yet, but I was still getting my drinks. But he was there to watch Dolphins versus Patriots, and I was there for Ravens versus Bengals week 1. Both our teams lost, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Both of us fucking lost. But I looked at my stepdad that day. I said, "Hey, we both gonna be in the playoffs." So the playoffs come. The Ravens end up playing the Patriots in the playoffs that year. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
And the Patriots won. That was Joe Flacco's last really good year. That was the only year that Joe Flacco beat the Steelers in the playoffs. That one time. In 2014. Remember when Terrell Suggs had to pick with his thighs?
Yes. Yep.
That was the game. And I just, it blew my mind because it's like, it was week 1. And at the time, you couldn't respect the Bengals or the Dolphins. But back then, it's like, damn, the Ravens and the Patriots are top dogs, and they just lost to bums.
Yeah.
I told my stepdad that day, we left the bar fucking shitting, man. Neither one of us was happy. One of us wanted to leave with bragging rights, and none of us got it. And
yeah.
I told him, I said, shit, the two teams that beat us, they ain't going to be in the playoffs, but we'll be. And that's what it was, bro. Because I remember the Steelers and the Ravens made the playoffs out of our division. And I think the Patriots only at that time won out of their division. But the Patriots at that time, man, they were just killing it.
Yeah. For their dynasty was insane.
I don't ever want to see another team in the NFL as dominant again.
No.
It takes away the fun.
Yep. It's crazy now looking at it. Like every team, every division has a team that could be right there at the top.
It really is. Then you look at teams, especially teams like the AFC North and the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are the best teams in best divisions in football, in my opinion, and they've been for a while. But now with Russell Wilson not in Seattle, they might bring that division down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the 49ers, them and the Rams are probably they'd be playing each other in the playoffs again this year, if you want to know the truth. Cardinals, I don't really know what to expect. With one day they're holding out, Kyler Murray, the next day he's there, and I don't think he's all in.
And then they get him Hollywood Brown.
Boy, Hollywood Brown ain't gonna bring them over no hump. I hope that's not what they're thinking. Hollywood Brown never should have been our number 1. I always liked Bateman. But Bateman was a rookie. He wasn't going to get that love and those opportunities. But now they ain't got a choice. Bateman's going to be getting the ball almost every time. And it sucks that they want to force people into positions like that. It's like, why couldn't you build this man up first,
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, man, I got an email. That shit said the Xbox Series X should arrive by Monday at 10 a.m.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Honestly, I wish it was this week because I already know our next class is going to be hard.
Yeah.
I done told my mom that. I stressed to my mom, I said, this is the second part of the hardest class I've had at this school. And it's going to be rough, man. We got to use each other, that's for sure. I got another friend, like I told you, my guy Alonzo.
Yeah.
Man, he's failed. I don't even want to say this live, but he told me he's failed a couple classes here. Oof. And we've took the same classes. I ain't failed nothing, but now thinking about this new project portfolio 2 got me stressing a little bit because I know how hard the first class was, man.
Yeah, I think I got a B in that. That was one of my first, I think my first B's, or it might have been, I can't even remember. No, I think I did end up with a B.
I got a B in that class, but my week 4 grade was a 68.
Mm.
and he initially gave me a 0 because I didn't submit the right link.
I do
So
remember that.
I had to redo that whole motherfucker while I'm focusing on another class, and that's something I can't let happen again.
Yeah.
You know me, dude. I'm very detail oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like the way he come at me. Thankfully, this is not the same teacher I have for the first class.
Yeah.
But the way he came at me, kind of like I felt like he was telling me I didn't read the instructions, and it's like, bro, you look at my grades here, man. I'm helping people with instructions. My
Yeah.
friend Alonzo, he don't read shit, bro. He reads like the final, like what they're asking to be submitted.
Yeah.
Anything else he has a question on, he's calling me.
Yeah. And I will admit I do that too. But then I'm like, all right, well, okay, I need this, this, and this. And then whenever I'm trying to do this, this, and this, then I'll go back and read how to do this, this, and this.
I'm that same way. But I know I'm very serious about this next class. I've already this morning I finished our knowledge check, and I ain't gonna lie, this knowledge check week 4 is hard.
I was just looking at that.
That motherfucker's hard. I passed it with an 80. It was hard.
I was probably going to do that tomorrow, I think.
I'm shocked I got the 80. The lab, I viewed the lab, but I haven't started the lab yet. The diagram, you know how I feel about it. That motherfucker can wait till Monday. Yep. I hate that shit.
Yep.
If Full Sail is listening right now, there ain't nothing I dislike more in this science class than this doggone diagram.
I'd rather do discussion posts than diagrams.
Dude, I swear. I'll use Rye's method more. But what I was told, what we're expected to really take from this class going forward is know how to question things.
Right.
And I feel me and you are already good at that. So
yeah. Yeah. When I first saw that physical science was one of my classes, I'm like, what does this have to do with sportscasting?
Please don't.
Someone explain this to me.
It's just questioning is all it is. It's like how you set the question up, how you get your response and your follow-up. That is something science does relate to the sports with well.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you. Do you know what promo was shot on this day 26 years ago?
What company?
For the WWE.
26 years ago was 2000. Geez. It's 2022, so it would be 96.
Yep, June 23rd, 1996.
Can I get like a timer for like a minute or 30 seconds?
Yep, go ahead.
This is hard because there's so much good stuff.
It was it was probably one of the biggest promos for WWE until the pipe bomb.
Can you give me like a hint, like the pay-per-view?
It was after King of the Ring.
So it happened at King of the Ring.
At that point, I don't know if King of the Ring was.
You talking about Stone Cold?
Yep.
It happened at King of the Ring. You talking about Austin 316?
Yep.
Man, I don't think anybody ever outdo that.
Yep.
I was 2 years old and watched this with my dad.
Yep. And Sport. It just popped up on my Facebook from 4 hours ago from Sports Kita, which is I think
Kita's on their shit.
Yeah, that's one source that I'm gonna start going to when I need stuff.
I looked into that thing you were saying about Sports Kita. I didn't apply yet, but I seen like some of the requirements and read about it. It'd be something interesting, at least if one of us can get the foot in with it. Somebody, somehow, some way. But you know, I'd be on Sports Kita's post, and sometimes some people like that share stuff that are admins there to beat. They be inaccurate at times, but for the most part, I love Sports Kita. I mean, I will say, that's somebody I like to use, and they get a lot of shit on, man. There's a lot of people that don't fuck with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more of their wrestling stuff and their baseball stuff. So I'm excited to see what kind of stuff they're posting for football.
I ain't gonna lie, I follow them for only 2 sports, MMA and wrestling, man. I don't use them for football or none of that. But I'm not saying it ain't good, because what I use from them is very good, you know?
Yeah.
I just have other sources for the other sports that I like more, but I do love sports, Keita, and they're on the ball with stuff, man. I remember when they didn't have hardly no eyes.
There's another, and I'm just seeing another post from the pro wrestling world, and it says only in WWE can there be a match between a theory and a riddle.
Hey, only WWE.
But I think Riddle is going to get Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, which is making that out to be probably the best card of the year for them.
I think that's the right move to take, but it's also like it sucks that Seth Rollins just lost 3 straight to Cody.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you don't want to bury Riddle, but it's like you can't keep burying Rollins when he still is a star of this era.
Yeah, and I mean, losses. I mean, if not having a title doesn't really, dictate what your career is or who you are, where you're at right now, I don't think losses or losses on pay-per-views do too, because it just builds him as a heel more because he gets more vicious and more angry, and then he's going to go and do, whatever, and
That's
an
true.
attack on Cody.
I'm waiting on Seth to unleash and do just something crazy. He's like a ticking time bomb, bro.
And I mean, he didn't qualify for Money in the Bank, but who's to say he doesn't weasel his way into the match like Brock Lesnar did a couple of years ago?
Anything's possible, that's for sure. And I'm loving the storylines lately. I mean, it's gonna be interesting, man. And AEW has been trying to keep up. I can't stand the Friday night situation with SmackDown and AEW right after. I'm not digging that. Somebody needs to go on another day.
Yeah, I mean,
because I ain't trying to watch 4 hours of wrestling in a row when I got schoolwork or gaming time I want to put research or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, that's like me with Monday nights and Raw being 3 hours. It's like I love all that wrestling, but at the same time, watching it live, I feel like there's more commercials than there is wrestling.
I was gonna say we might love all that wrestling, yeah, but there's more commercials and there's more on the mic stuff than actual wrestling. Well, some of the on mic stuff leads to the great wrestling, but man, when I see a 30-minute promo and it's a 10-minute match from those two people, that's like they need to fix that.
Yeah.
But honestly, you can't really tell them anything. You can't tell them they need to fix this or that when Vince is on top of the world.
Yeah.
As much as I see AEW marks hating, I see the numbers and the viewers every week. WWE is still on top.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter if you want them there or you don't. The numbers don't lie, man.
Yep.
And that's why people succeed when they go to like WWE. Even WWE at their worst still does numbers.
Exactly. It's like Hell in a Cell. I didn't think that card was anything. I did not enjoy. I mean, I enjoyed, some of the matches, but apparently that was the most watched. That was the most ever watched Hell in a Cell that they've ever done. But the card was not that great.
Right. It blows my mind too. It's like, man. But when you got a family that's got several kids don't want to see, it's like that's what their audience is.
Mm-hmm.
I get on YouTube. I know my audience ain't WWE fans. They want something violent from the UFC when it comes to me. I got on there the other day, and it wasn't even something related to any of that. And somebody, I had to ask him, I was like, who the fuck are you? He was like telling me, like, bro, this ain't UFC. I need something violent. And I said, listen, man, who the fuck are you? Because I don't recognize your name. Do I know you in real life, or you just support me on YouTube? And the man, he was joking. He was like, yeah, I'm a nameless guy, but I've met you on here, and I like what you're doing. I'm thinking, this motherfucker. And they good people though, man. People that there's some people that subscribe to me. That's all they want, dude. They just want to see a violent knockout.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I've never really got into the UFC or, like I said, boxing until Jake and Logan. And I mean, I'm still more wrestling than I would be UFC. But I mean, like I said, when Sugar Sean's fight is up, let me know so then I can find a link to watch.
Yeah, like July 2nd. I
I'm
remember
not
you
paying.
telling me.
I'm not paying Daddy Dana, $70-$80 to watch one fight.
I'll message you the link. I don't want to say it on the airwaves, but I've sent you the link before, but I'll send it again before he fights. Because I
Awesome.
don't want to say it over them airwaves, because I've been down with the game for a while with these streams. And you tell two people, that's 1,000. And then that many eyes, it gets deleted.
Yeah.
So I've learned that, man. I think the stream I use now, I have a backup stream I tell people just so it gets deleted.
Right.
But the stream I use heavy in the past 2 years, I've told about 4 people, literally. And there's been people that have tagged me like in the group, like wanting me to reply publicly about it. And I'm like, I'm just like, I tell them about a pay-per-view. And sometimes I do when it comes to Conor McGregor.
Right.
I mean, when it comes to somebody that's Irish or somebody that I really like, I'll buy it. But I'm not paying 65 plus a month, 12, 15 times a year either.
Yep.
But also, I don't tell everybody my sites, man. A lot of these sites, some of the people I know personally, like I've met through Sherdog, like I was telling you about earlier, like Sherdog is like the MMA gold mine.
Right.
And I've fucked with them before. I was fucking with them on dial-up internet.
Yeah. Well,
So,
yeah, like I said, mostly anytime. Well, I got all the Jake fights and Logan's fight. There might have been one. No, I bought the Triller fight, and I bought the first. I think it was the Ben. No. I didn't get to watch Nate Robinson.
yeah, Ben was the one on Triller, I think.
Yes, Ben was the one on Triller, and I bought that, and I was like dumbfounded that I paid $60 for, TikTok.
I couldn't believe they conned me into thinking. Listen, I've watched Ben Askren's whole career. He was an Olympian alternate. He was a high school champion, a Division I state champion wrestler. He was a Bellator. He was a 1FC champion. He come to the UFC and didn't do bad. But man, they had me thinking this man could box when he's a wrestler. I mean, the guy cannot strike. And I don't think I even really took a prediction in that fight, but I was trying to tell people, like, my thing is like, at the time, nobody really knew Jake in the combat sports world.
Yeah.
And I'm telling these people, like, listen, Ben Askren's a world champion. Like, you can't hate on, but I knew the man couldn't take a punch on the chin. I knew it.
Yeah.
And he went out there and did exactly what you wouldn't want, like Dana White, for example. What exactly you wouldn't want as a promoter, Dana White, to see. And he goes out there and clowns him. And it's like, man, I could get when Ben Askren got knocked out by that flying knee from Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
I can get that all day. I can't even get why he even would have accepted that fight versus Jake Paul if he was going to get slept like that.
Yeah, and he wasn't taking it serious, and you can tell that.
He was overweight. As bad, and that's not really a lot of things people point to, but I point to him being overweight because he wasn't training as serious.
Oh yeah.
He thought he'd go in there and he might not have thought he'd knock out Jake Paul, but he thought, hey, I can ride this decision.
Yeah,
Jake ain't gonna hurt me.
Yep. Yeah, he was counting on his, wrestling athletic background, cardio background to play an effect, but Jake's got a right hand.
Jake's got some power, man. That's why I say, I've been seeing it lately, and that's why I say it has to be Tommy Fury right now. It don't need to be Nate Diaz. It needs to be another boxer, the same type of experience. Whoever wins this, the sky's the limit.
Yep. And Jake has said he said he wants to beat Tommy Fury right now, and then within 3 years he wants to become a world champ.
Well, Tommy Fury is the first step. You know, if Jake Paul, if his real goal was to become a boxing world champion, then he needs to beat quality boxers, and that's who Tommy Fury is.
Yeah.
And the same thing's said for Tommy Fury. If you want to be a future boxing champion, you need to beat this guy. It don't matter what you think of Jake Paul. Jake Paul is the boxing scene right now. It's like you beat this guy, then hey, you right in the mix for a title shot. And same with Jake. Jake beats this guy. Well, you beat one of the best in the world, fucking Tyson Fury's little brother.
Yep.
That's why I think everybody was talking about Jake versus Anderson Silva and Jake versus Nate Diaz. I've just never been down with that, man. It's like I just wanted to see Jake fight another person that takes boxing seriously as he does.
Yep.
It's like I don't care if you think he's better or worse, but both of these guys, that's their sport is boxing.
Exactly. Yep. And I mean, everyone's like, oh, all he does is fight former UFC guys and this and that. It's like he was using those world-class athletes as stepping stones to get to a boxer. And then he's going to go from a boxer to a world champion boxer. And then apparently now he's definitely going to do an exhibition with Mike Tyson.
That's crazy, man. But like Mike Tyson said, this has to happen. They have to sign to do that like now.
Yeah.
Because Mike Tyson ain't no spring chicken, bro.
Yep.
This is why I didn't want Anderson Silva versus Jake Paul. Because Anderson Silva's 46, dude. Come on, man. I don't care what resume Anderson has, which is one of the best ever.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, the man's 46. One punch the right way is asleep. And it's gonna be this conversation again. Well, Jake didn't beat a boxer. And this is not me. This is just me speaking from a perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, well, now with Tommy Fury, win or lose, a loss wouldn't really hurt his stock because this is a real boxer. A win will only propel it.
Yep.
And that's an unbiased take about it, man. Like, I know I give the Paul brothers a hard time, but I do that because I see more in them than what they're doing.
Right.
Like, man, you want to be a boxer? Well, boxers. If you want to go be a UFC champion, Jake Paul could call Dana White and get him a top fight in UFC. So I don't think that's the problem. I absolutely believe that Jake Paul could fight, maybe even Logan fight in the UFC one day. But they got to understand too, like there's certain levels to it, man. And they're proving themselves in this boxing world, but they got to know what it is in this UFC world too. And Dana might be saying like, hey, you know, Nate Diaz should box Jake Paul. That ain't him saying he needs to be fighting him in my promotion either.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what Dana's trying to say. Because Dana isn't going to let Nate go unless it's for a fight that's going to benefit the UFC.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know who Hamzat Chimaev is?
No.
Oh, man. This is a badass motherfucking Russian. He lives in the mountains of Dagestan, and he is a combat sambo specialist. Somebody Nate Diaz don't want to fight.
Oh,
so Dana White is basically saying you can fight him, and then you're free from your contract. You're going to get your ass kicked in the process. But I'm not just going to let you go to do this boxing thing.
Yeah.
So Nate, I can do what Nate's doing. I can go on Facebook, and I might not be signed to the UFC, but I can be like, yo, Dana White, you better fucking fire me and release me because I ain't fighting that motherfucker. I want to go box Jake Paul.
It's honestly kind of like what MJF did, where he came out. He's like, I don't want to wait till 2024. And
yeah.
Tony, I want you to fire me. I want you to fire me right now. I don't want to be here anymore.
I'm really digging that whole controversy in AEW too.
MJF hasn't been seen on anything for AEW since.
He's got taken off
all TV. He got taken off the commercials. He got removed from the shop. He got taken off the roster. Everything.
All that is an excellent word.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be back. I promise you. He might not be back and world champion the same night, but I like MJF, man.
So do I.
They've treated him well in AEW. WWE, what was he, a bodyguard or some shit like that? I was reading.
So yeah, he was a security guard down at NXT, and I don't even think he was ever really signed with WWE. I think he was just like it was it was kind of like how Charlotte Flair was in Triple H's entrance that one year at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I
It was
remember.
kind of like that where he wasn't signed with them. He was just, on their TV or whatever. But he was a bodyguard for or security guard for Samoa Joe during his entrance. And that's what I thought. I was like, well, wasn't MJF signed in WWE? And like, cause I was like, oh, he has that history with Samoa Joe. But there, I said about Solo Sikoa, there was more to his quote that this is from WrestleFeed, and it was, I guess they were really considering bringing him up to the main roster and putting him in the Bloodline. And it was an interview with BT Sport. Solo revealed that WWE was planning to add him to the Bloodline, but then decided to give him a solo run on NXT. And he said, I don't want to be referred to as their brother, their cousin. I want people to recognize me for me. Before I debuted on TV, WWE Creative were like, we'll put you with your brothers. Then the next meeting was like, let's see what you can do on your own. I feel like this is my time now. This is the time for fans to recognize me as Solo instead of with Jimmy and Jay.
I can't hate him for feeling that way. If you ask me, he has more solo talent than Jimmy and Jay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just being honest. But also, say he ran a program with the Bloodline and got his name on even more.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt him to do that.
Yeah. Like since Jimmy or Jay and Roman had their solo thing, Roman could tell Jimmy, go down to NXT and teach,
Easily.
teach your brother, a lesson and about acknowledging his tribal chief. But that's like the people that want Naomi in the Bloodline. We're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, I never really was big on Naomi in the Bloodline, but Naomi needs some kind of push soon. Naomi's talented as fuck, dude. I mean, I'm not even gonna hate on her, but also the same token, it's like, man, this whole we can't keep Roman versus Brock going in that storyline either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though it might sell, but we need something different.
Yeah. No, I can agree. I want at this point I was thinking Cody was going to be the dude to end Roman's reign.
I think we all thought that.
But I just I would at this point, if it can't be Cody, I want it to be Seth, because Seth is the only one that Roman.
What about Riddle or Theory? What if Riddle or what if Theory beat Cena and then lost his title to just some bumfuck and then challenged Roman Reigns? We need a new guy, kind of in a way.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Theory, keeping him at like.
You don't think he's ready yet?
No, I don't.
And that's fine. That's completely fine.
He can keep elevating the U.S. title, but like he needs to actually defend it. I agree. He's a heel and whatever, but like he doesn't.
What if he goes out there and smokes John Cena, makes John Cena look like he didn't belong?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, they're.
I think that's
probably
what's gonna happen.
They're probably already planning for Cena to put him over, but
they should. They should.
But
I agree. I don't think as much as me. I'm a big Theory fan. I've been a big Theory fan before all this John Cena versus him talk. But I don't think he's ready for a Universal Undisputed Championship shot either. But not to say, 2 years down the line, he might be the next big guy.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with Vince. You got
to earn it. Yeah. When you're Vince's guy, that's 75% of it.
Yep.
And he's got that. And now he just has to work. I think this beef with Cena, that's the right direction.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially like when they made him the youngest United States champion versus and Cena is probably the best United States champion ever.
Easily.
Yeah. Yep.
Cena has done so much with that United States belt. He in 2000 beat Big Show, or not 2000, in 2004 beat Big Show at WrestleMania 20 for that belt, and that's when people realized, dude, John Cena hit Big Show with the attitude adjustment, the FU. It was called the FU at the time. And people started really catching on. Think about it. 1 year from that WrestleMania 20 to WrestleMania 21, John Cena beat JBL for the biggest belt in the company.
Yep.
It just shows you a year's time is a lot in this industry. That's why I say it's like, it's no knock when we criticize Theory. That's what we're talking for. It's like, I love Theory, but I do have my criticisms of him. But that ain't to say 1 year from now I might not ever have that criticism again. It's hard to tell because this new talent, and I want to see Riddle in title mix. I want to see Braun Breaker.
Yeah, yeah.
These are the guys we need in the future to see.
Yep. Yeah, Braun Breaker, Riddle, down the line, definitely a title match I would want to see. But like I said, I mean, like Theory's just not there yet. He's just starting his climb to be there. Like, his run right now as the US champ, like he really hasn't defended it.
It really reminds me of John Cena's US title run.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like he got the belt. He's not there yet, but he's established himself enough to take this, and he's about to build his name with it.
Yeah, like he's. I mean, I know he's a heel, so obviously he's going to go and try and duck Bobby Lashley, but
yeah,
he's actually going to defend it at Money in the Bank against Bobby Lashley. And who's to say, like, they honestly might just give it to Lashley.
They could, but I don't think they will. I think Theory's going to hold on to it. It might be some BS. And I hate to say that because look at how much Lashley's dealt with BS with the main belt.
Oh yeah,
they've finagled this man time and time again, but also it ain't gonna hurt him at this level to be finagled out of that belt.
Yeah,
it's just a stepping stone, and man, and we never truly got the real big Brock versus Lashley match we was owed either.
Yeah,
that shit was not what it was supposed to be.
Yep.
But I say, I know our next. Do you have the same teacher the next two classes? Because I know I do.
The same teacher for the next two?
Yeah, the same. I got the same guy the next two classes. Well, I was gonna say, if you want to look that up or whatever. I know we got.
Oh. Yeah.
What I was gonna say, the way I know me and you like to post content, we try to post it like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie, this next class, this Monday, I know what kind of time it's gonna take for me.
Yeah.
And I already know I might not even be able to play my new Xbox like I want to because of this new class, man. But all I was gonna say is, even if it ain't every day, I mean, me and you can maybe try to plan out posting content on a weekly basis. Like today, we're on your platform.
Yep.
Maybe next time, the next video you come on mine, just when we're ahead of our schoolwork.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd do that for sure.
That's why I happily hopped on here first, because I knew you wouldn't have no problem. But that's something I would like for you to do too, And then that's when you hop on mine, and maybe Alonzo might have one for us. So, me, I stay in touch with a lot of people, and this next class, I'm not even gonna lie, it's gonna be rough on all of us, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. The first one was very interesting, and I learned a lot, like doing stuff with Adobe Portfolio and like the blogs and everything, and I want to get back into that.
Man, I suck at Adobe Portfolio. But every recommendation recommended to me to edit to make it better they give me, I did. I'm better on YouTube, man. I don't know, and Instagram. I posted a video on Instagram yesterday and got 1,000 views and likes already.
That's awesome.
And I always said, if I can't grow on YouTube, I want to grow there. It's like Facebook is more the platform that connects everybody to everything.
Yeah.
I love Facebook, and Facebook's grown me. I can't say. I remember when I had no supporters there.
Yep.
But I can't say I view it the same way no more. Like Facebook to me, just I just have more freedom and fun on Facebook, man.
Yeah.
It's like yesterday, Dave tagged me on something that he was like, "Yo, this should be the cover photo." That's the first time I ever been asked that. And a year ago, I probably been like, "Fuck you," like this is my shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is funny. This is literally Vince McMahon right now. It's like, yeah. I was like, we can rock this for a week, man.
I saw the cover change, and I commented. I said, "This is fantastic."
Yeah, and I'm glad that it wasn't just me that seen that. It was like, if it's funny and it fits to me, other people maybe will see it that same way too. And that's how I looked at it. It's like, well, I told him, we can rock it a week. I probably should have told him we can rock it to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
The only thing I hate about that being there is it's taken away from, the actual like representation of us.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I've never in the 2 years I've created this page, I've never had anybody ever ask me to like, yo, I want to be the cover photo.
Yeah.
I had for somebody like Dave, he's active.
Yep.
I was like, well, and Ontario did it before I even had a chance to answer it.
Yeah, I saw that he was the one that made that.
I wasn't mad about it. I loved Ontario. He is the right-hand man, and he knows what he can and can't do. So it was like, well, I can't even argue this. Like, I was just like, we're going to let it be for a week. But we might start, transitioning to like, we might do something like, hey, we might have a vote for the cover photo of the week.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be cool.
That's how I took it. It's like, it didn't bother me that bad. And Ontario just did his job. He don't know his limits like that, and there ain't no limits with him because he was the second member here.
Yeah.
The only limits he has if I forbid it. And I'm not going to do him that way because there's nothing he's going to present to me that I'm going to forbid.
Right.
But guy had something hilarious that was like, yo, this should be the cover photo. He did it. I didn't have to reply right away for a week. I could have replied one day. But I'm going to live on my week. And I'm fine with that. It's funny to me. I love it. I seen that bitch like 10 hours after the fact, dude. I'm like, damn. I don't know what the hell I had going on the past couple of days, but I really ain't been on Facebook, man. I worked yesterday. I had actually a pretty big dinner to make for my standards. It wasn't just for me. I cooked for my mama and my stepdad, and my baby half brother.
Right.
So I had things going on, but I didn't look at it like that. And that's the reason I told them when Ontario was the second member to join this group, I was like, man, you the second man in charge. If I can't answer fast enough, you got to handle it.
Well, that's held true because when I was reaching out to you about the issues with the one dude, saying the stuff that he was saying, I couldn't get a hold of you. And I went to him right away, and
he's there. If he ain't working, he's there. I promise you, dude. Ontario's good people, man. He joined this group. Like I said, it was me and him were the only two in here. And we were talking to ourselves. And this is before I ever thought about Full Sail or doing this as a career.
Right.
Or anything. And he's just been he is my right-hand man. That's what I refer to him as. And I don't know what he tells other people I am to him, but that's what he is to me.
Right. Yeah.
And he's a best friend. He's actually got him a little podcast going out tomorrow.
Yep, I saw it. I saw it and I shared it.
Yeah, I did too. Same. I told him to share it to the group, of course. I have yet to debut on any of his podcasts yet, but It ain't a matter of me or him. He's probably waiting on me to be like, yo. A lot of people are like that, man. I mean,
yeah,
and sometimes like it's weird depending on people. Like some people, I'm gonna be like, he can wait to ask me. The next person is like, well, I'm gonna push. It's just weird, man. It's like
yeah,
you always want to be help to somebody, whether you're growing them or growing you. You just want to be a part of it, but
exactly.
it's different. Like every situation is different. And I've been a big supporter of Kingpin Sports Talk since day one, and I still am for Dontario and all of that. But when the time's right, I'll slide on there, man. He don't just do sports on there, as you see.
Yeah,
They talk about real life shit, man.
yeah.
So
There's been a couple times where he's been live, and I've clicked on it, listened to it for a little bit, and then have to go and do other stuff. But yeah, I've noticed that, and it's pretty cool.
that's why it's always welcome here, man. I share that shit, and people that really fuck with us and are of big support to us and what we do, I have no problem sharing that stuff. It's like I want that to grow, just like I want me to grow. But I'm not going to sit there and help somebody that ain't helping me.
Yeah, I mean,
But
like I
that's
said,
not the case with a lot of people that we deal with.
yeah, like I said, whenever you need me there, I'm there.
You've definitely been there, man. And it's crazy. Look what we've done in these 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Man, they ain't many people doing this outside of on television.
yep.
Dude, we sat here and I literally told you before I joined this, I came unprepared.
So did I. I didn't have really anything to go on, but I mean, this is kind of like what I would like to turn it into, just
I
running,
agree.
talking, throwing sports in here. And it's kind of like
It's sports knowledge. It's not about what you're seeing on TV. It's about what do you know.
yeah,
And
it's
that's
like
what it means to me.
it's like Pat McAfee. His shows go for like 3.5 hours.
Easy.
Uh,
He's killing it, man.
yeah,
He's motivating.
and he's always up to something.
Always, dude. He was up there. He had beef with somebody on Instagram yesterday.
It was the NFL social media team.
You're right. It was about. It was. Tell me. I can't remember exactly what it was
He
about, but it was stupid.
So apparently he commented something, and I don't remember what picture he commented on or what team it might have been. Oh, it was something about Matt Ryan on and the Colts, maybe a pass that Matt Ryan made or something. And Tom was like, let's just all welcome back Lombardi to Indianapolis before we even get started. And then his comment was blocked from being seen.
What?
Yeah, and then it turned into a whole big thing for like a day and a half, and then they brought on Ian Rappaport, and he was like, "So why did you block my comment on Instagram? Why were you behind that?" And then Ian was like, "Oh, well, it wasn't me, but I'll see what I can do." And then I guess they got it figured out, and Pat within the next day or two, he's like, "All right, we're at a ceasefire with NFL at NFL on Instagram."
I tell you, Ian, and get it figured out.
Yep.
That's who. I got a lot of honestly, both of the breaking news of Goose and Ferguson yesterday passing away. I got that right from Ian.
Yep.
And then you got it's Ian Rappaport, and who's the other one, man?
Adam Schaefer.
Yeah, Adam be inaccurate a lot. But I like Adam. But
yeah,
there's a lot of times like Tom Brady retiring, he said that twice and was wrong twice. Ian Rappaport usually he don't report that shit to the NFL says it's true.
Yeah.
Like and a lot of people about, well, he wasn't fast enough. Yeah, he might not have been fast enough, but was he accurate enough?
Exactly.
That motherfucker don't miss, bro. I watched him on NFL Network. He don't miss.
You said Tom Brady, and it's funny because there's a meme up right now, and it's on my Facebook, and it says it's a picture of Walt and Saul from Breaking Bad, and it's the scene where he says, "We're done when I say we're done," and then the caption is Tom Brady to Gronk when he hears the news about his retirement.
I'm telling you, if Gronk for some reason before September said he wanted to come back, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, with Gronk retiring from the NFL, what's to say he doesn't come back to the WWE and try to have a run at his 24/7 title?
Hey, who's he did? Yeah, before I say what I say, it's funny you say that. He never lost that motherfucking belt, did he?
No, he did.
He did.
Yeah, he lost it right after he signed with Tampa.
Because I
Yeah.
remember he won that bitch at Royal Rumble. That blew my mind. It was like, because he wasn't supposed to be there. It was like, what the fuck's Gronk doing here?
Yeah, him and Mojo Raleigh had a thing going back and forth. Mojo won it, and then Gronk won it from him. And then Gronk was hosting WrestleMania 36 when it was in the Performance Center. But I mean, him hosting a WrestleMania, that would be funny.
How you think Lacey Evans is about to come back? She lives 20 minutes away from me.
That's awesome.
Dude, she follows me on fucking Instagram.
That's pretty cool.
That ain't my favorite woman. You know that. That's a sassy Southern belle. I'll say that. I love that fucking woman, bro. And I feel, she's probably due a nice push.
So
she was losing to the best during her time.
Like I said, I called it when her first match back was against Io Shirai in a qualifying match for Money in the Bank. I knew instantly she was going to win. They were going to hype her up to return for her first match since February and then lose. But
her getting pregnant, man, all the time, that shit got to chill. She need to come get a women's belt one time. Am I wrong?
Honestly, I think they were probably pushing her to beat Charlotte for the Raw title before she got pregnant.
I thought so too, man. I really did think so. And I mean, she's a sassy Southern belle. I mean, do you know how many people down here in the southern states love that woman?
I'm sure she probably has a good fan base down there.
Dog, I don't even rep the South like that, but I love her. Do I want her to beat Charlotte? Maybe not. But if she come out there and beat Ronda, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot about Ronda.
I'm sick of her, dude. I've been telling y'all since day one what Jim Cornette said. That's why I said what I said when I shared that post. Not you or not really people in the group that they don't fuck with me like that. But there's so many people all the time that sit there and talk shit and then sit there and say, oh, well, finally, Ronda doesn't get eyes. Ronda isn't a good wrestler. It's like, well, why didn't you say that when she was wrestling Charlotte?
Yeah.
Charlotte carried them too. I mentioned that in WrestleMania and in the I Quit match.
Yep.
Charlotte carried them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was, always a big fan. Like when Ronda, came out at the Mania with The Rock and everything, I thought that was pretty cool. And then
that was badass. When Angle, Ronda and Stephanie and Trish. Yep. I'm a little behind on you actually, but yeah.
Yeah, that was the next year. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like, but I didn't watch those when it was happening. Like I said, I started watching in 2018, right after the Survivor Series, right before Survivor Series, when Becky got punched by Nia Jax and wasn't able
to I was salty about that. That was back when I had big love for fucking Becky too. Man, I got 22 on you. I started watching the very first time I turned on Monday Night Raw. You know what I seen?
What's that?
The Undertaker hanging Stone Cold on a cross. I swear to God. And I was scared. I mean, I'm 2.5 years old, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm scared, but I can't turn this channel.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I watched The Undertaker fucking hang that man to that cross, son, and we will never see something like that again.
Oh, no.
And
nope.
I swear that the next Monday, around the same time, even though I was a little baby, I was like, yo, it's after hours, and it's that time again. What's on USA?
I don't even know if that's PG.
I swear I don't think it was. I think it was PG-14. And I kid you not, when I watched that, I'm like, yo, like The Undertaker, I was thinking immediately, I don't want to fuck with him. And this was before The Undertaker even had his Hell in a Cell moment with Mankind.
Exactly.
I'm like, yo, that's a scary motherfucker. And The Undertaker was my GOAT, like, that night. Before I knew his history and what I got to see him. This was before his WrestleMania record was kept in track.
Right.
Like, when I seen that shit, I'm like, oh, man. Like, yo, this guy's going to have me watching every week. And Undertaker ended up having me watching every week until he retired, and
then unretired, and then retired again,
yeah.
and then unretired.
But I will say, when he fought Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33, I was at a watch party for that, and we had about 30 people, and every one of us really thought The Undertaker was done. That motherfucker came back and beat AJ Styles.
I'm shocked that it wasn't Roman that beat him, and it was Brock.
I think Brock shouldn't have beat him at all. Roman should have ended the streak. I don't think Brock really should have had anything to do with that. Brock didn't need that. Brock's a fucking badass Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
He never needed that rub. But also, when Roman beat Taker, he was the hottest heel. And I don't think now he is a hot heel as he was when he beat The Undertaker. If you want to know the truth, when he beat The Undertaker, it wasn't boos like, oh, he's a bad guy. It was like they didn't like him.
Yeah, and that started it. But then when he left because of leukemia and stuff and came back, that's why that's where the
love came into play.
And then that's where, he had that heel attitude, but he wasn't a heel because he was getting cheered.
And that's a hard thing. The only superstar that can relate to that is Becky Lynch.
Exactly.
Like currently, Becky, it's hard to make her a heel, dude.
Well, Seth too.
Seth, even when he's booed, it's like, people love him.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I'm saying like from his entrance, he's coming out and everyone's doing the
yeah, that's true.
His entrance and stuff.
That motherfucker gets attention, and like I've said, I've always liked Seth Rollins the most out of the Shield. My dad actually met Seth Rollins. They're both from Iowa.
That's awesome.
Seth is from Davenport. My dad's from Waterloo. And that's about Myrtle Beach, Conway distance, about 30 minutes. My dad used to tell me before Seth Rollins made it, like, I know who this man is. I went to school with him.
That's awesome.
I look at my dad and be like, fool, you crazy. And the reason I feel that way, my dad don't like wrestling. My dad don't, and it's weird and random. I said, my dad don't like hip hop. Okay.
Yeah.
I say that because, I didn't know my dad much of my life, but I did live with my dad. I'm 28, about 2.5 years of my 28 years life.
Right.
And I lived with him when I was 19, and he got me a job at a casino. I was security. Okay. Security at 19, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm chilling and my walkie-talkie goes off. It's my dad. He's like, yo, we got Tigga up here in the casino tonight. He needs escort to his hotel. I was like, I got on there. I said, call me. Because I knew when he said Tigga, it didn't make sense. I'm not going to embarrass you on a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
My dad called my cell phone and was like, Tigga, man, you going to escort him to his hotel room? I said, Tigga, you talking about Tiger? He says, yeah, the rapper. I said, don't ever call him Tigga again. But I kid you not, about 20 minutes later, my dad calls me again and says, yeah, I want you to escort him to his hotel. You're security. I was like, okay, Pops. So I take Tyga, and he already has security. Keep in mind, he had fucking stripper hose. He had security. And then me. So we get him to the casino I worked at was a hotel casino. We had restaurants, all that. That's all Iowa had. And anyway, I get him up to his hotel room. He looked at me. He says, you want to come in a minute? I looked at Tyga. I said, normally I would tell most people I'm on the clock, and I can't. But right now, I'm never going to see you again. Yeah, let me in there. So I walked in. I sat on his bed. This is when I was smoking weed. The man hands me a blunt as big as my fucking wrist.
Wow.
I was like, yo, light this. This is yours. And I'm like, word. So we started smoking. Like, he had his, and his entourage had theirs, and I had mine. We're drinking. I mean, shots were handed to me, man. Nothing really mattered. And we're having a good time, and I joked with him about, I was like, my dad called you Tigger, but I said, but I listen to your music. I know you're Tiger. And we're having fun, man. I mean, and the next thing you know, 2 hours went by.
Wow.
I looked at Tiger. I was like, yo, I'm on the goddamn clock, son. I was like, it ain't my dad. It's our bosses. They're going to get my ass. It's like, dude, I've been riding the clock for 2 hours at $20 an hour or $20 an hour in your hotel room. I'm not protecting you. The man was like, yeah, no, I got you. He's like, I'm telling you, guarded me in this room. And he gave me an ounce. He handed me an ounce of weed, son. And was like, yo, he literally was like, yo, thanks for escorting me to my room and giving me a great night in Iowa. And then handed me 2 $100 bills. It says, if you lost time on your paycheck, that makes up for it.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I left, and then my dad wasn't my boss, but we worked the same department.
Right.
So I get back out of that hotel room environment. I mean, I'm fucked up, man. I've been smoking weed. I've been drinking. I call my dad. I'm like, yo, I just dropped Tig off. I said it like that because that's how he said it. And he's like, yeah, where the hell you been at for 2 hours? I said, dude, he wouldn't let me leave. I was like, he gave me money as a tip. He gave me weed that me and you sneak to the house later. It was illegal as fuck.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, he gave me like 10 shots of fucking something. I was like, dude, I'm fucked up, man. I don't even want to be on the clock right now. And he
That's
told me
crazy.
he was sure enough. My dad was like, well, go ahead and clock out. I don't want you on the clock like that either. I clocked out. My dad was my ride home usually some of the time. And sometimes if he was off, I'd drive,
Right.
But we both worked the night shift. And the night shift is where the fun is. Obviously, Tiger's coming in at midnight. I mean, but that next morning, that ride home is memorable, man. I was telling my dad, like, I didn't expect it to go down like this, but
yeah,
it was a memorable night. And I told him, I said, the man gave me more than my hourly pay to make up for me sitting in his hotel room. And obviously, if something was so bad that security was needed, my walkie-talkie was on my waist. Dude, I was fucked up. Like, when I left his room and got on the elevator to go down like 6 flights, I was fucked up. I was like, dude, I was thinking to myself, I cannot believe I'm on the clock right now intoxicated like this. I was thinking, where am I ever going to get a job like this?
That's incredible.
I'm telling you, that's all facts too, man. Like, my dad, I still to this day, I joke with my dad. I don't talk to him much at all, but I still joke with him like, were you joking about his name is Tigger, or did you really not know who he was and just was wanting me to get to do the job? And my dad really didn't know. My dad's an Eazy-E, NWA type rap era.
Right.
He grew up in the 80s, 90s. He didn't know who the fuck you. Excuse me. I had really bad hiccups, but yeah, he didn't know who that was. But my stepmom hated me. I still to this day, I had to block my stepmom on Facebook because she's a hater. And man, I remember, I ain't gonna lie, man, like I come home from work one day, and my dad was a bad alcoholic. Like, I might drink a beer here and there, but I don't drink like that. My dad would get home from work and drink 6 fucking 24-ounce beers and pass out.
Oh, wow.
And my stepmom caught on to that shit, And my stepmom eventually got to the point where, like, my dad had to massage her. My stepmom was overweight, like 400 pounds. And it come to a point, like, my dad had to eat or mess with her in a way, like, where he could drink.
Right.
And I used to tell my dad, like, you fucking stupid, man. Like, you got to rub her feet or fucking fuck her pussy, or you got to do this to drink a beer.
Yeah.
And I used to give my dad hell about that shit, man. It's like, my mama left you because you wasn't happy and cheated. And now you stuck with somebody like, damn, you can't even drink a beer unless you do something in return. I remember one night, me and my dad never smoked weed, but he smoked with me one day. And we had probably, like 60 Bud Lights we drunk, bro.
Wow.
10 minutes before my stepmom got off at 4 in the afternoon, and 10 minutes before my stepmom got off, my dad looked at me like, yo, I'm going to bed. I said, bro, I know why you going to bed. You scared of what my stepmom's gonna say. And he didn't even acknowledge it, dude, or deny it. But his ass went to bed. My stepmom comes home. And time I heard the key go into the lock to unlock the door, I faked to sleep. So she comes in there and she's ripping the blankets off my dad, dog. And she's like, Steve, you're fucking drunk. And blah, 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 blah. And, dude, I'm sitting here trying to hide my laughter. Like, I told this man, like, you shouldn't be this soft.
Yeah.
And I woke up eventually after that, and I looked at my dad. I'm like, shit, man, I drink when I want. Ain't no woman gonna tell me when I can and can't drink. My stepmom's sitting on her laptop, and she looked at me when I said that, but didn't deny it. I was like, I'd be damned if a woman's gonna dictate my fun in life. And dude, I kid you not, nobody's saying to me. 2 weeks later, I got invited to a party for somebody I work with. It wasn't a bad party. It was a fucking cookout. And the guy worked security with me, and he was grilling steaks and chicken and wanted me to go. One of the only friends I still have from Iowa to this day. So I do that. I come home that night about 11 p.m., which that's not late at all.
Right.
And my stepmom's standing at the door. She was like, I know what you was doing all night, and me and your dad don't appreciate you partying. I said, party? And I said, man, I'm 21 years old. I said, I got invited to a cookout. If beer was there, so be it. If weed was there, so be it. I said, my own mama down in South Carolina who raised me don't give a shit about that. And we argued. And eventually she was like, well, if you feel that way, then you can go live with your little friends. Keep in mind, I lived with my dad 3 months.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, I think. But yeah,
so I got on the phone with my mom. I said, I moved out of my mom's house twice, but I've never not been welcome back.
Right.
I called my mom. I said, my dad that was supposed to get me established in life and this and that. And I said, well, he was shitting on me about making friends. I said, I don't even want to live with this man no more. And I ain't gonna lie, I moved from there and I ain't talked to him since. My mom, filled the roles of my mom and dad growing up.
Right.
My grandma was, I guess you could say my grandma was like the dad, but she didn't live that long. But that was my mom's mom. It had nothing to do with my dad.
Right.
And they never really liked me. I remember growing up when I was like 11 years old, 12 years old, and my dad would invite me and my sister to like Christmas in Iowa. We would go. My grandma would not like that one bit.
Yeah.
My grandma would be like, you're wasting your time. And you know what? You want to go do that? You can. You're not having Christmas till you come home. My grandma was real, son. And a lot of that stuff didn't make sense at the time.
Yeah. Is that the one who just passed recently?
Well, not recently. That was my aunt who passed recently. My grandma is the one who passed in 2007.
That's right.
But my grandma, like I said, I had a mom and a grandma raised me. I didn't have a mom and a dad like most people. And it literally, my mom never argued it. Like, it wouldn't even be me. It could be my sister that talked to my dad and be like, hey, mom, me and Keenan are going to Iowa this Christmas. My mom be like, whatever. My grandma would be the one that raised hell, because usually it was my grandma forking the bill.
Right.
For anything. And a lot of times that I got invited to go to Iowa, I had to pay for it for my family. And I felt bad, ever since I started college, and working good. My dad hasn't one time, gave me a happy accomplishment or I'm proud of you.
Right.
None of that. And my dad's still on my Facebook. I'm not going to delete him, but I want him to see this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And he be wondering why people don't reach out to him. It's like, bro, ever since my dad left my family before I was out of my mom's stomach.
Mm.
So why should that ever be my top priority to reach out to him whenever I wasn't good enough for you? You left when I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, I'm a mama and grandma's boy, man. At the end of the day, even when it comes, obviously, forget any of that stuff I was saying. When it comes to my mom and stepdad, it's like I'm still a mama's boy. My stepdad knows that.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't love my stepdad. I take care of my stepdad and do what I can to help my stepdad, but I'm still a mama's boy.
Yep. I feel you.
Them old father figures they can't fuck with me, man. I said, my mom had me in her stomach. My sister was already born, and my mom had to worry about raising kids because in like '97, my grandma. This is when the move to South Carolina was happening. My grandma took my older sister Kayla, and they moved down into our trailer at the time in South Carolina. And me and my mom was living in hotels invaded by fucking roaches and stuff alone till we made it to South Carolina.
Wow.
It's like, that's something, my mom's always been in my corner, right or wrong. And I think that's something that really bothers my dad. And that's his own fault that he wasn't there like that.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
And I love my dad, dude, but the same token, like if my dad died right now, I can't tell you I'd be at his funeral. And I can promise you I could care less if I was in his will.
Mm.
I need nothing from him. I want nothing from him. I expect nothing from him.
Yeah. I definitely get that.
I got cats. My own cats love me more than he does, bro.
Yeah. And that's sad.
It is. It's like
It's
you
very
created
sad.
me. And I was almost named after him, bro.
Mm.
And my mom actually shot that down. She was like, "No, I don't want to give Keenan a generic Steve name." And that cracked me up. My mom was on the money. My mom named me after I forgot. It wasn't like the Wayans brothers now. It was Keenan. I can't even remember what he was a writer or something, man.
Mm.
He was a white man, and that's what I was named after. I was either going to be named Steven or Keenan.
Mm.
The Steven wasn't my mom's idea. She wasn't having that shit. I know I'd be ready for this Xbox to come next week, dude. I gotta get my focus zoomed. I got a new lens coming for my dang camera too.
Nice.
Cause that's one thing that's been bothering me is my lens.
Mm.
I can't focus on it. I don't know what it is.
Mm. Yeah, I haven't played with the camera too much since the class 2 months ago or so.
The camera's legit, but I don't think when it comes to focusing and also when it comes to videography is not the best camera.
Right. We also haven't really had much, practice with it and whatever, but
I agree. My friend Alonzo just finished that digital photography class, and man, he was tripping. He was blowing me up every day, man. And I told him, I said, "Listen, dude, read your assignments." I was like, that class stressed me out just as bad, but I finished with a 96.
Yeah, I was
like,
not lucky in that one. I got a C in that one.
A C?
Yep.
Man, I think what got me the A I got is I told the man off rip, I don't leave the house much. I was like, I go to work and I'm not going to work with this camera.
Yeah.
I was like, I go to work and I come home. I'm going to have to do film at home.
Yeah.
And dude, my last project in that class was a commercial. It was me doing a workout. It was me doing push-ups, sit-ups, dumbbells, everything, and then me
Right.
self-hurt at the end of it. And I
Yeah.
told the man, I was like, I have no help with this, and I do it at home.
Yeah, I was lucky to have help like for my commercial and stuff, like with my little cousin. My cousin's helping me out with the ping pong commercial I shot and then the Prime commercial I shot. But yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I was just looking at this 4.0. One thing I've noticed about our new class, like none of the people that are giving us like instruction is the instructor.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a single instruction in this class, dude.
So do you know when we start when we have 2 classes in 1 month? Is that
I'm really kind of worried it's the next class because I
and that's
have
why
the same
it's
teacher the
showing.
next 2 classes.
Yeah, and that's why it's showing that we have him.
But I was told we never should have that worry online.
Mm.
We're one at a time. So that I agree. That kind of worries me too. I noticed that this morning. My project portfolio 2 and professional development seminar is both with Dr. Lee DeJarlius.
Yep.
And I really hope they don't run concurrently because I'm not trying to. Because I already know project portfolio 2 is hard enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's now that we have the 2 classes back to back, or if that's later on in the program.
Are we supposed to have back to backs? Because I was told we're just 1 class a month.
Yeah, so looking at the class, like the list of the entire program, there were a couple times where it was 2 in 1 month.
Maybe they won't be as strict on this portfolio class. My friend told me the final in the portfolio 2 class is a music video.
Oh.
But I don't. It's like I'm thinking like that sounds cool, but it's like what's this got to do with anything?
Yeah.
I'd rather do something by the books.
Yeah.
It's like what do you want me to get on here and rap? I mean, I don't know what they want from me, but I hope this project portfolio 2 is a little more smoother than the first one.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now, the online chronological course schedule by months, and month 12 is 2 in 1, project portfolio 2 and professional development seminar. So,
Oh man, I'm gonna be in somebody's inbox asking for an extension.
So the professional development seminar that's only 1 credit. So maybe it's just like a seminar type thing. It's not going to be that big of a course load.
Maybe that's a seminar from Dan Patrick itself.
True, maybe.
Because we are due some of those.
And then in month 16 is project portfolio 3 and professional development seminar 2. So we have another 2 classes in 1 month.
No project portfolios, they be on the ass with them.
Mm-hmm.
I told somebody, I was Alonzo, I said, this is the hardest classes we going to take. I think we have like 7 of them, 6 of them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 6.
And these are all career-based classes, so they're needed, but it's like, man.
Yeah.
They're hard. They ain't easy. They don't want to hear about YouTube growth in these classes.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I know that for a fact.
So
but it's like it ain't gonna hurt to be like, hey, I've grown here though.
Oh yeah, yeah. My phone's about to die, so we can wrap this up. I honestly didn't intend to go for this long, but
I didn't even realize it was 4:00.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, man, we'll do more of these for sure soon.
So to kind of wrap it up, I have 3 things that I'm seeing. So I found an article on Sportskeeda, and it says it was a quote from Vince Russo, and it says they're scared to death of Vince McMahon. And it's Vince Russo's details on the relationship between Vince and USA. which explains why he showed up on Raw.
I think when it comes to Vince Russo ain't perfect himself. And
No, yeah,
it might be, but there's been controversy with USA and Fox before this.
Yeah. So the quote says, I don't know the relation with Fox. I could tell you about WWE with the USA Network. The USA Network, there was a huge changing of the guard. They had a huge structural change not too long ago, maybe about 2 years ago. Bro, they are scared to death of Vince McMahon. The tail is wagging the dog. He has them in the palm of his hand. They are not happy with the product. They are not happy with the numbers, but they also don't have the balls to hold Vince McMahon accountable. That's why the numbers are where the numbers are.
That sounds about right. Vince McMahon is one of the most powerful people on the planet. You know, there's if you ain't got something on him that can hold, like you can have this dirt, like these women think they got, oh, he got you by the balls with this non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, he don't sign deals with networks or anybody he's doing business with and doesn't. There's somebody that studies that motherfucker inside and out.
Yep.
Vince McMahon has the money that we can just dream of.
Yep.
It's like, dude, me and you would never have a worthy. There wouldn't be a worry in anything we do if we have power like Vince McMahon.
Yep.
There's nobody. I even said this when Donald Trump was the president. Donald Trump ain't got nothing on Vince McMahon.
Yep.
So who is? I mean, who really can?
Nobody.
It's like, it's his show. The only thing you can do is networks quit promoting it, people quit watching it. But that happening, it ain't going to happen.
Nope.
That is the only way. And Vince Russo, he's an old salty bastard, man.
Yeah.
He's very controversial. I followed Vince Russo, I'm saying, you know, I followed for a long time, and he wants controversy, man. He wants the eyes on him. And a lot of people think Vince Russo is the reason why Chris Benoit, that whole thing happened.
Oh wow.
They that's a whole different bunny hole I'll let you jump into on a different time.
Yeah.
But I assure you, there's people that really believe that.
So the second thing that I wanted to hit on was that I had pulled up is Bryan Danielson is out of Forbidden Door. So he's injured and won't be cleared in time to wrestle at Forbidden Door.
Who's his replacement? Or they ain't...
It doesn't say right now, but I was gonna watch Dynamite here when we're done here.
I'll say that might be the answer we're looking for, and I haven't seen it either, so that could be. I like Danielson, man. He's super talented, but he's a little older, you know. So if he's not able to go, I can completely understand that. And a company like AEW, I expect to be ready for that.
Yeah. So it says that a New Japan star Zack Sabre Jr. called him out, and that was the plan to do for Forbidden Door. But I guess last night on Dynamite, Danielson, he said that he won't be cleared to go.
That's sad, man. Hope he heals up fast because Danielson's definitely entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, there's another. Then there's another article now. It says former WWE star says he'll be in Chicago on June 26th and is potentially Bryan Danielson's replacement.
That'd be good.
It's looking like it. Rumors, or at least in the article, and again, this is from Sportskeeda, is Johnny Gargano.
That's not a bad idea. Especially, I mean, if it's last second and Brian can't go, that's not a bad idea at all.
And Gargano has already tweeted and says, I promise you this is ridiculously coincidental and has been booked for months. I'll only be in Chicago for like 8 hours. I also realize saying this is there's only 5% of you that are going to believe that I'm telling the truth. But
that's true. That's true.
And then, so that was the two wrestling things that I had pulled up, and then the third one is I don't know if you've seen this, but Masvidal had some words to say about McGregor.
Oh yeah, man. It's like you brought that up just for me.
And yeah, it's perfect. That's how we'll end it. So
It's
it says
perfect.
this is via block asset full story at MMAfighting.com, and the quote was obviously before the guy overdoses on cocaine and then the fight never happens and I don't get to make all that easy money. I just want to break Connor's face. I'd bring out the BMF belt only for a bad motherfucker and some cash money. You a bad motherfucker, you got money, let's put some money, let's get a little escrow going. I put a couple million aside, you put a couple million aside, and it comes with the belt as a cherry on top.
I will say, my love and my relationship with Connor and Jorge are different. Like, I watched Jorge like on the streets, and he wasn't even a known guy. He was fighting under Kimbo's promotions on street fighting.
Right.
I'm Irish and Connor's Irish. There ain't a better Irish mixed martial artist we've ever had than Connor.
Yep.
So it's like, I've always said I never wanted to see these two fight, but also in the back of my mind, I know there ain't a better fight that I want to see.
Yeah.
And I agree with what was said here. And MMA fighting is a very good source you brought that from.
Mm.
If they're willing to do this and the BMF title to be on the line, do it. I don't know if I would not give a prediction right here and now, but Jorge's got to realize Connor has not stopped training. You know, Jorge might not even be able to fight within the next year. He has these legal matters he's got to deal with. You know, you can't just walk up and knock somebody's teeth out on the street and that be okay. But I get why Jorge did that, which I don't know if you know about that situation, but
I do remember it, but I don't really know like what it was besides like Jorge and
Colby.
Yeah.
They have a long, extensive history. They used to, at one point, Colby lived with Jorge. When they were in college, when Jorge was like the biggest prize street fighter on the market, Jorge was coming up in college, didn't have nothing. So he lived with Jorge for a few years, and they ended up training together at the American Top Team.
Yeah, and that's where
it starts.
And then because AEW, they showed the BMF title and the UFC titles at their gym when Guevara and Ty Conti stole them.
Yep. And what happened is I guess, obviously Jorge was in the game longer than Colby.
Right.
So Colby maybe kind of realized he's kind of in my way. And that's not necessarily good to think about when you're thinking about friends and sparring partners. Well, that's what happened. And Colby ended up getting a fight with Jorge. Colby won by unanimous decision.
Mm.
But he didn't do it unarmed. He was saying, like, in the lead up, I get selling a fight. I'm a person that tells you to sell a fight. But I'm not telling you to say this man is a bad husband and a bad father.
Right.
He did that. And he's got to own that shit. So, Jorge gets word of this. Jorge lives in Florida.
Yep.
And Jorge was chilling at his house. He gets a text message that Colby's at, I forgot the name of the steakhouse.
Yeah, it was steakhouse, and he was with
the Nolte folks.
With
the Nolte folks. And if they're Colby's friends, they did Colby dirty.
Yeah.
Because they sure enough told Jorge, hey, he's here.
Yeah, it was the voice guy on
boys,
TikTok.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it was the Nelk boys were there, but the guy that sent the text was I cannot think of his name. He does like the voiceover commentary on like TikToks and stuff.
Shit. Trying to think too, but it was a posse of them involved with that. But my thing is, it's like when Jorge comes and punches that man in the mouth I mean, he shouldn't have been talking about the man being a bad dad and husband.
Yeah, exactly.
Jorge handles his shit, and then the people that brought Jorge there are acting starstruck. They couldn't believe Jorge showed up. Like, Jorge is that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have lost in the octagon, but goddamn, you text him the location of Colby and what he said.
Yeah.
I just can't believe they even did that. And, that's something I wouldn't do, man. Like, if I'm covering a fighter and he hates somebody, talk your shit, man. I might use it for video content, but I promise you, if I invite you to eat out at a steakhouse with me, you ain't got to look over your shoulder and worry about getting attacked.
Yeah.
Like,
It was Bob
petty.
Menery is the guy that
Bob Menery, that motherfucker. Yes.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
But he is the head of the Noke folks or Nork folks, whatever that shit
Yeah,
is.
the Nelk boys.
Yeah, the Noke boys. Yeah, he's the head of that.
Because I've watched a couple episodes of their podcast, and I can't, like, the Antonio Brown episode, man. I watched like 20 minutes of it, and they were asking him questions that were just stupid questions to ask, and then he was spinning it and he wasn't answering them. He's like, no, I'm not gonna answer that.
Them guys, they want like a light out of somebody. They want somebody to fight and beef. That's what they're looking for.
They had they had Trump on, and like he said this episode's gonna get taken down right away. And then sure enough, it was taken down immediately.
Man, I couldn't believe, Trump, his ass, he come down to South Carolina in 2016. And he was 20 minutes away from where I was working.
That's awesome.
Bro, obviously I couldn't get over there, but I was texting him on Instagram like, Trump, you're right across the road from me. Let me come talk to you. I was like, everybody in the world hates you, but I don't. Let me come talk to you. It didn't happen, but my aunt was actually at his pep rally that day.
That's awesome.
Because she was picking me up from work, so she left from there to pick me up, and of course she was already ready with like, Trump is here. It's like, bitch, I've been already studying this, trying to figure out a way to meet him my damn self. I was trying to leave work early, walk over there, fucking.
Yeah.
I didn't care what it took. I was like, how can I get over here? And so Trump, he's been a mess. And then you got damn Alex Jones. That's a fucking mess.
It definitely is those are some crazy topics right there.
Alex Jones is like, man, he what got me was like the Sandy Hook shooting.
Right.
And I had a cousin that died. So for him to go on YouTube with 1 million+ viewers and say that was rigged by the government, that bothered me. Like, oh, so my cousin's life is rigged by the government?
Yeah.
But you see, he got canceled because of that.
Doesn't surprise me.
He was literally saying like all of that was government backing, and they did it for gun control. And He's fucking nuts. If gun control was really real, I wouldn't have a gun in my house right now.
Yeah.
I live in the dirty South, man. You can think what you want about the government, but I promise you the government down here in South Carolina is pro-gun.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
So what beef do I have? It's like, you guys are pro-gun, I'm pro-gun. Don't come up in my face with your guns. I ain't going to come up in yours and mine.
Yeah.
I'm not a killer by any means, but I got guns for my own house, like for my own protection. That's the only reason why I have guns, especially since I've gone to school. My gun collection's racked up. It's like, shit, people want this laptop. They're going to want this TV. I sleep with a fucking shotgun under my bed, man.
I don't blame you.
My door's locked. It's like, I'm going to hear you break through the front door before you can even get to my bedroom door. So I'm going to have the shotgun cop.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer in guns, man. It's like, you just got to know they're for protection. They aren't for violence.
Yeah.
And where I live at, I've put down a fucking bear, son. Tell me, you live in the woods and you have a worry about bears. Tell me you don't need a gun.
Yep.
Somebody please tell me, because you can argue a deer or anything weak. I mean, you can argue all day. Well, you don't need a gun for that. Tell me I don't need a gun if a bear is on my back porch.
Yep.
There ain't nothing I can do about it besides a gun.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, that bear, he kill all my wildlife, eat it probably if he wants to. He ravaged my fucking backyard. An electric gate isn't enough for him. He's just gonna walk over it and laugh.
Yeah.
It's like I gotta have that for him, bro. And where I live at, it's like if I lived in Connecticut, I might not ever have to worry about a bear.
Yeah.
But I literally live in the woods, dude. I mean, there's bears I've caught. This is me 10 years ago, not thinking of bears and wildlife. I have an innocent garden going. I found a bear and they're destroying it. So it's like, what do you expect? And I don't want to kill a bear, but I'm more put them down because of my other pets.
Right.
It's like, hey, man, my pets ain't got a shot and they can't shoot you.
Yeah.
And then you're eating my crops, bro. If I had cattle, I used to have a cow and a sheep farm, and I had a sheepdog. I had all kind of stuff years ago.
Yeah.
A bear would eat all of that.
Right.
Like a bear will eat my cow, and where's my steak at?
Yep. I feel you.
That's one thing my family they instilled in me from a young age. I'm no farmer, but I know enough about it.
Yeah.
It's like, bitch, I see a big ass grizzly bear in my garden. I got to put him down.
Yep.
That's my food. This shit's been crazy, man. And I'm trying to see, Game 5 is going to be off the limits with the Avalanche. I don't know if the Avalanche can finish Game 5 or not, but I think the Avalanche will win the series.
Is that tonight?
Game 5, I believe, is tomorrow night, but I'm about to check right now. Game 4 was last night, so I give them 2 days.
Probably tomorrow then. But yeah, so I'm at about 14% on my phone and 7% on my laptop. So we the last thing I'll say to bring up is apparently, so John Moxley was on Renee Paquette.
That's his wife.
Yep. Yeah. He was on her podcast, and he revealed that a therapist that he was seeing when he was in the rehab told him to retire.
I seen that too, and it blew my mind.
And now
it's like somebody like that's hardcore like Moxley, you can't just tell to retire.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He
he reminds me of Mick Foley.
Yeah. He looks so much better now. He looks so healthy, and just like whenever Jericho came out and challenged them to the Stadium Stampede, and Moxley was like, nope, not doing that. Enough of this sports entertainment bullshit. I just want to wrestle.
Yeah, that's who he is, man. That's something I respect about him. He if he needs a couple weeks, a month, or 6 weeks off, take it. But it's like, I don't think he's quite ready to retire yet.
Oh no, not at all. I think he's about to.
If he was wimpy, I'd say yeah. But he's hardcore as fuck, man.
Oh yeah. I think he's about to become the first 2-time AEW champion.
Yep. He's gonna win that interim belt.
Yep. And then
that.
him versus CM Punk. What was that?
I said he would be the first interim champ at that. I don't think you don't really see interim belts in wrestling like this.
No.
You see it in MMA, but I'm actually for it, because if somebody's got a year and a half off due to injury, well, you need somebody.
Yeah, it's like I think most of the time, like the WWE wise, they have they decide who's gonna, take it, right away.
Yeah.
Like when Finn Balor won the Universal title when it was first created, and then he got hurt and then had to relinquish it that next day. They had a way to figure out who was going to win it right then and there. But it's like CM Punk came out and said that he would have relinquished it, but Tony was like, "Nah, you've earned it to be, you've earned the right to be champ, and you're going to have a reign when you get back." But
and I think that's fair. And it's crazy. We might as well hit this 3-hour mark before we hang it up. We about 30 seconds off. I think we did damn good. And
yeah,
I was going to say, especially for our first, this is the longest show I've ever done.
Oh yeah. I mean, most of mine on here, 20, 30, 35 minutes. I mean, actually, I can't say that. When I had my friends do one with me, we went for an hour. So
that's not bad. Most of mine are always about, if I'm alone, about 10 minutes. If I'm with somebody, about 30, 45.
Yeah.
But I want you to send me the link to this when everything's done. I'll upload it on my platforms and all that too. I know your shit's about to die, but hey, we hit 3 hours, man.
That's wild.
I want to take this and upload it on my Anchor too, so we can get more eyes that way. YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I can. I will try and figure out how I can send you the audio. I haven't played around.
And I'll look too. If you can't figure it out, I'll probably be able to find out a way. But
okay,
I definitely want to be able for us to both be able to share it on every platform.
Yep.
And just watch this.
Yep.
Even
I mean,
watch the whole 3 hours. Just watching it, helps.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I think definitely if you post it onto the group, it'll get eyes. So.
Sure, the group, the page, the or the group, the page, my Facebook profile, the YouTube, Instagram, I can post it there.
Yep.
I reposted on Anchor. There's a lot of areas because you can post this audio only with a background. I can do a background that changes between Sleeper Sports and Media and ESN on a YouTube video, and it's just our talk, but a different video.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
There's a lot of things to work on.
Yeah, I'll definitely try and figure out how to send you the audio, and then we can go from there. But yeah, so thanks for being on. And again, this was Sleeper Sports and Media, along with Exceptional Sports News, the dude over there. So go follow that Facebook group, Instagram, all those, and YouTube, everything. So
you're gonna be on ESN platform for the next one.
Absolutely. Just let me know when.
Alternate.
You just let me know when.
I'd say, me. I'm I hate to keep it going. I'd like to be very quick with it, but also I do know what this next class is going to encompass. So soon as we can make it work, we're going to make it work.
All right, that's awesome.
Maybe I'd say within the next 2 weeks, maybe.
That works. That'll be a good window.
For sure.
So, all right, but you have a good night, and I will work on getting you this audio then.
You too. And y'all sports fans, don't hesitate to subscribe to all the platforms you've heard throughout these 3 hours.
Yep. All right, man. Take it easy.
You too, buddy.
See ya.
Later.